Hello and welcome to the Destiny Community Podcast plus SideQuest, DCP plus SideQuest. So if you don't know, we are merging two shows this week. SideQuest and DCP will become one gorgeous stream of something or another. So we're going to be talking about other stuff on this show. Aside from Destiny, we'll also still be talking about Destiny. We also brought Fran on from SideQuest. We're very happy to have him on.
If you are a fan of DCP from the old times, before we made SideQuest, it's basically that, but now instead of you yelling about, oh, when does Destiny start, we'll have timestamps to tell you when it does.
Right.
So,
and they will be 100% accurate.
They will be. It's
guaranteed.
True. Yeah, so to give people just like a little bit of clarity about why and how and when and who, we have a lot of people who sometimes play a lot of Destiny, sometimes play no Destiny. There will be some weeks where there's nothing happening in Destiny and a lot happening in other places, but then it also goes the other way, right? Where Destiny's popping off, final shapes out, everyone's playing Destiny, no one's playing other games. So it's a way of just making sure that both talking about Destiny and other games has a place to live in a show that's going to have lots of content, lots of people to talk on it, and lots of fun times. So we'll also be talking about just like what we've been up to, what we've been watching. It's the old DCP you know and love back again.
Ooh. DCP Plus.
I was almost in the graveyard.
Yeah. It's only $13.99.
I was holding Mylan over the graveyard. I had a shovel in my hand, and then Briar snapped us back.
Yeah, Watts was like, if you don't start playing Destiny and start bringing Destiny content to the podcast, you're done. I said, please, not the graveyard. What if we talked about other games?
There's so many bodies in there already.
Honestly, you might not even fit in the graveyard.
Right? We're going to have to build a whole new graveyard.
You have to dig a little bit deeper.
Who thought that Mylan would have been the problem with Destiny players? You know? I think you'd be yelling at me. Hey, you didn't finish this season yet. I will be doing that before next season, but
yeah,
also a friend.
Plot twist. It was a plot twist.
It was what?
Friend. But how does this normally go? What, do we do a round table? What you played this week? Do we go on what's new? What's new release?
We go, what you been doing? Tell me your stories. And then you go, well, let me tell you. I was talking to a pig yesterday, and I was...
Mylan, I learned not to ask questions like that. Don't ask about the organization.
Structure?
It's a glorious, what is it? A beautiful stream of something that Briar was.
I believe it's
Briar he's going to shoot it right into your face, and it's glorious.
Well, before we get going with video game stuff, I got some questions about Texas real quick.
Oh, no.
Yes.
See, I told you. Texas barbecue, barbecued Briar. Yes, let's hear more.
It's a good way to
Lego
start.
informed us before the show that his town-wide celebrates mermaids.
Yeah.
And, I'm sorry, you have a celebratory pig for Mermaid Day?
Yeah, so it's like, so the town actually has this spot that used to be a big attraction, like that people would go to their honeymoon and stuff to come to this like spring, this natural spring, and they had it set up like an amusement park where there was like a dome that you would like go under the water and people would like put on a mermaid show, and there was like a swimming pig and all this stuff. And it was like a long time ago, but I remember it as a kid. And then now that
you went as a kid?
No, yeah, I went to it as a kid one time.
Do you dress up as
remember.
Is there face painting? There's got to be mermaid face painting.
Yeah, there's got.
Yeah, well, see, it doesn't really exist anymore. Like, it for a while, it was like abandoned, like an abandoned theme park type thing. Like you could go, and it was like really cool, actually.
Abandoned mermaid park where
it was awesome.
Fine.
There's a bunch of zombie mermaids there now.
After all that, then the town, like the Texas state took it over, and it's like a reserve for certain things now. And they changed it to where like the town now celebrates mermaids, and there's like mermaid statues all over like downtown. And there's sometimes you'll see like a painting of a pig like underwater and stuff. It's so weird. It's like, so we have like a mermaid parade that's huge. The whole town goes to it. People from surrounding towns go to it. It's wild.
like folklore? Like, did someone spot a mermaid at some time, or was it just like this cool lake or ocean part? Oh no, lake. What did you
Spring.
say?
It's a spring,
Spring.
so it's called
A
Ocarina
spring.
Springs. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
are
right.
you landlocked? Are you by the ocean?
No, not at all. No, I'm between Austin and San Antonio, so it's like not. It's like this
Perfect
middle
place
of
for
Texas.
mermaids.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but everyone's super into it because we're kind of by Austin, and there's a town that's north of us called Wimberley that's real hippie, and so it's like that vibe is just here, and it's awesome. My kid freaking loves it, but it is also weird. Like they're like, so what's the deal with the mermaid statues? You always gotta explain it when somebody comes.
Deal
and
with the
visits.
mermaids, yeah. I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah.
How did it start? Was it just a guy who loved mermaids, got a town, and was like, "All right, we're making this mermaid town because I love mermaids. Get your mermaid costumes."
Right. Here.
I feel like it was all the amusement park thing. Like I feel like someone just came up with the idea. But I don't
They're
know.
like, you know what the
story,
kids
but
love these days? They love mermaids.
Mermaids. We've got water mermaids and swimming pigs.
It's
We
wild.
put mermaid
Yeah.
tails on the pigs. They're mermaids. See?
Do you get that in a lot of places in America? Because we sort of have it in Australia, like rural towns just got into this fad of having big things. So there's like the big banana. It's just a big banana. There's the big lobster, the big pineapple. And it's like these tiny towns that
They're trying to be the
probably-
big apple, but they're like, what could we be? A
That
big
is
lobster.
something I see when I'm traveling, but I don't see it around here so much. But I love to see when I'm traveling. If I came by, if I was traveling through Texas and I saw the mermaid parade was happening today, you're damn right. I'm getting a hotel room and I'm staying the night. I'm
You
gonna
should
check
go.
this out.
Honestly, it's pretty cool. Like
DCP
last
goes
year
to
they had
mermaids.
like people with the like big dragon things, and like
Oh,
just people dressed up as mermaids, like driving it. Like there were so many people dressed up as mermaids, like kids dressed up as mermaids. They do the whole thing. Like it's crazy.
That's a costume
Sounds
commitment.
great.
You can't walk good when you have a mermaid
No.
costume on, right? You kind of like flippers, like flipping around a little bit.
What time of year does
See,
this
waddle.
take place?
During the middle of the summer, so everybody's just
Ooh,
sweating
in your
off.
mermaid tail? Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
But
Maybe
see,
we
that's
won't
the,
be visiting the
Yeah,
Briar,
a
you bring up a
stinky
good
mermaid
point.
tail.
that's why they're all on parade trucks because they can't walk.
Oh,
That makes sense. Okay, that's smart. They figured it out. That's good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
They
Are
gotta
they
figure
like
it out.
sitting and like waving their mermaid tail?
That's exactly what it is. Not kidding.
If you've been to Disney and you've seen the Little Mermaid anywhere, it's like
Right.
that, but in Texas, so better.
That's fascinating. I want to know a little bit more about the pig. What is this connection with the swimming pig?
So, because it feels like a mix, the amusement park thing of like a carnival and like how there is like circus animals and stuff like that. Like it was like the pig. They had a name for it. Ralph.
Johnny.
It's
Ralph.
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 Yeah.
Perfect name for a swimming pig.
That leads back to Destiny. Good old Ralph. You know
Next
that guy.
time somebody says Ralph, I'm gonna be like, oh, the swimming pig.
And it would like swim down with the people who dressed up as mermaids for the like underwater show thing. Yeah.
Was this like a huge,
Oh.
like full size pig, or was this like one of those like mini pigs?
Oh, I gotta
I
look
think
it
it
up.
was a smaller one. The thing that's weird about this place is like I'll talk to people sometimes, like older couples, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we went on our honeymoon there," and I was like, "What?" Like they would like there was like a hotel by the springs, and now it's all like just like college property.
What a fantasy world to get married in. I mean, it sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have access to the to look at the DCP Twitter right now, I put in a picture.
Oh
The
no.
Legend of Ralph the Merpig. It is a story written and illustrated by Cheryl Latimer. Apparently, there's a whole story about this pig.
Wow. That is a disturbing drawing. The something about the proportions is just that pig is looking into my soul and looking at things I don't want to share.
Mylan, could you show?
I can't see it. I went to DCP Live. Where
It's in
tweet?
DCP host.
Oh, in the Twitter,
Whoa.
in our DMs, yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, damn. Copy that.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's the pig at so that particular statue. I know exactly
Oh,
where
Ralph's.
that is. There's like a ton of them, but that one is at a nature center where they like have all of this like nature stuff set up for kids. I take my kid to walk there all the time. I'm like, you want to go on a nature trail? Let's go on a nature trail. It's actually really cool. Oh my gosh,
Ralph.
that one. I actually don't know where that is.
Ralph the Merpig.
Yeah, I just googled Ralph the Mermaid Pig, and here we go.
Yep, there you go.
I can bring up the other photo. I don't know if there's another one.
Oh,
What the? What? Oopsies, wrong one.
the magical world we live in.
Yeah,
Thank you for sharing
Magical.
that, Lego.
You're
I
welcome.
gotta
A
tell you.
little insight into my life.
Magical, mystical
That's
world.
a Merpig. That's a Merpig.
If you're listening to this on the road, when you get home, Google Ralph the Mare Pig. It's worth your time.
It is. It's worth your time.
Holy! So what is this part of the parade? They just have everyone decorates a mermaid.
Lego doesn't know where that is, but it's apparently a part of it.
I don't
From
know
the-
where that
from
part
the
of
Google
town
images.
is, but I recognize the other statue you shared a picture of.
Yeah, that's when they
should,
take it.
I
Take
should get a
pictures of it in
picture
front
of the parade because it's like
You
really
should.
cool.
It's like
Sounds
really
really
cool.
good.
It's really cool, guys.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a merpig
really
and
cool.
everything.
There's a merpig. There's mermaids.
I think it's
there's
time to start
a
planning a second honeymoon, honestly.
Let me know when you
yeah,
come.
Ralph
I had
the
no
Mare Pig.
idea. I had no idea about that. Not a clue.
So,
Nice.
Mylan, you're playing a game that I'm very interested in. It's called The Last Something or Another. It's got a terrible name for a video game because I can never
The Last
remember it.
Faith.
Faith.
The Last
right.
Faith.
The Last Faith.
Metroidvania, so like in 2D pixely side scroller. A lot of people compared it to, is it Blasphemous 2?
Blasphemous.
Or
Yeah, Blasphemous
yeah.
and Blasphemous 2. Yeah.
A lot. I've
I
heard
never-
a lot of it's Bloodborne and Castlevania in pixel art. Is what
Yeah.
I've heard a description of before.
Yeah. I think people get the Bloodborne from some of the like weapon design and some of the like pixel aesthetics, and also there's a parry mechanic that restores your health, which is really nice. Not like, because a lot of games have been introducing the whole like parry to restore health kind of deal, but often you have like a grayed out bit that you can only restore, but this game just lets you do it. Like if you do a parry, it doesn't matter how, like if
So
you've
you
already
fill your
taken
life
damage,
bar right back
you
up.
can just you can just risk it for the biscuit, which is I actually really like the parry design, because you could just find an enemy that you are confident parrying and you could just restore your life like that.
How does the parry window feel? Pretty forgiving?
Yeah, it's pretty forgiving. Yeah. It's it's not you hold up your arm for like a split second. So there's a little bit of a window to get it. But of course, you can still get it wrong, and then you just get wailed on by some like little goblin, like these little dudes. It is very typical Metroidvania, like big sprawling backtracking maps. Like where you'll see something, you don't have the tool for it yet, you can't grapple to it yet, you can't move that block yet.
Does the
then,
map
of
let you
course,
mark locations like that? Like, can you?
One of my only criticisms is the map. You can mark things, but it's very limited, and I think that would be like my probably only criticism of the game. I would love to be able to put make a custom pin, or at least like custom colored dots, so I could be like, okay, that's a boulder. And I've seen that boulder many times. I'm sure I'm going to get something to move boulders because then
So
when
do
I
they
got the thing to move
have? Is it just like the same? Does the marker look the same?
you
so
have like
you have-
four. Yeah, you have four
Okay.
predetermined pins. So there's like a question mark, an NPC pin, a treasure chest pin, and something else. So technically, you probably could probably have used your own system, but at the time I kind of realized I probably should have been marking a map a lot more. It was a bit I was a bit lost. So I think if you like Metroidvanias, this is like worth playing. But be aware, I definitely felt like it was on the Metroidvania scale more than the like Dark Souls scale. Bosses didn't feel like super hard, but great music. Interesting like way that they've done the combat mechanics, because there's no real like collision until the boss is doing an attack. So you can like literally walk through bosses. So
I see.
It's interesting how they've done that, and it makes for a different type of combat. So you just walk through them. But then if they're doing an attack, they'll have a certain aspect that becomes a hitbox that you can't pass through. So you got to obviously learn the movesets like you normally would, dodge it that way.
I just have to say that I think it's really funny, but maybe challenge me on this because I am curious. Like everything's got to be called a Metroidvania and Souls-like. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is just New Age Castlevania, isn't it?
It
why
does
is it
look like Castlevania.
Isn't it just like a New Age Castlevania? Like what makes it Metroid and what makes it a Souls-like?
Well,
I did a video essay on this exact topic. Actually, like
segue.
I can't remember what I came to, but the definition of like a Metroidvania, obviously taking inspiration from Metroid and Castlevania to combine into like a new genre.
Right.
And I can't remember exactly what, but my definition of those mechanics is that there is a lot of backtracking and map exploration where you'll unlock an ability like Metroid, and you would have to go back, and now you, and double. I don't know what Castlevania like adds.
It did, but not.
Well,
as
that's
much.
why it's Metroidvania, right?
By
That's
the way,
why
I'm not,
there was a
Sorry, I was just gonna say I didn't realize you were saying the same thing, Mon. I was reading their description. I wasn't challenging what you thought of it. Just so you know.
No. Well, it's a good discussion because a lot of people throw out the word Metroidvania, and that's why I did like a video topic on it because I think I was playing not Silk Song. We're waiting
Hollow
for Silk
Knight?
Song. What was
Hollow Knight?
I played Hollow Knight, and like obviously everyone was like, "Oh, it's Metroidvania." I'm like, "What the frick is a Metroidvania? Like, where does this come from?" So I went on this deep dive about it. I've already lost all that knowledge, and I never played Castlevania, so I'm mostly familiar with Metroid, which is what it kind of feels like.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Castlevania is like the aesthetic of it, maybe. I'm sure the comments will.
Yeah, it's a whole thing of you find a place where you're like, clearly I need a double jump for that. I don't have a double jump yet. You progress, you get a double jump, you're like, that cliff, I need a double jump for that cliff. I'm gonna go back to that cliff and use my double jump. And it's just lots of that. Unlocking abilities, going back to places you couldn't go before getting that ability.
And that's what Castlevania kind of did anyway. It was because they did it at the same time and they were in their own right. And I could be off on this remembering, but they were like the AAA of those types of games where you like got to a door, you're like, dang it, I don't have that. What is it? Then you like explore around and you find it on the other side of the map. Then you gotta go all the way back. Basically, that was Metroid to begin. It literally was like you go to the other side of the map and it's lava, and now you come back to the icy side and you have the the lava power to melt the door, and like Castlevania had done that stuff, but again, I was just actually
started it though, right? Castlevania didn't start doing it until Symphony of the Night on the PlayStation.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, man, this is so like kind of just like a New Age Symphony of the Night. They even have a screenshot where it's got like, I don't even know if it's one of the powers, but like the the plus. What's the boomerang that's like
cross.
A star?
Yeah,
the cross. That's right. It's just a cross. Well, like that's from Castlevania, but I really was just making light of like when you read descriptions now, in particular on Steam, it's like a dark Metroidvania meets a Souls-like, and I'm just watching. I'm like, this is like a New Age Symphony of the Night, probably. To me is but I haven't played
Souls-likes are very much an extension in my mind of the Metroidvania.
Yeah, they are.
They go together a lot. Yeah, especially if you find like 2D side scrollers, they will usually be a Metroidvania and a Souls-like. It won't normally be just like a pure Souls-like 2D side scroller. And I wonder if that's because, when it comes to like exploring the area, you're working with a little bit less because you don't have a 3D space to create it in. So maybe it's like, in order to make the game feel like it's got a lot going on, you unlock abilities and you go backtrack and maybe
I mean, really, when the Souls-like thing was very much, and even that has started to devolve, but like is very focused on combat and RPG stats, but in particular, the loss of your souls where you got to go back and pick them up. And it was those things combined. So when I read stuff like this, that's what I was getting at. I'm like, I might have missed it. Does it have that element?
Yeah, so the Souls-like element of it is, when you kill an enemy, you get I don't know what the currency is called. You get the souls, and it
face.
I
don't know what the currency. I haven't played it yet. I'll play it tomorrow.
You're like when you start your characters, it's similar to Souls games where you pick a class that has like a stat attribute that they're more like proficient in it, and it has vigor, like stamina, focus, has all those things you would expect. And the stat screen basically looks like it's straight out of a Souls game where, you know, right hand, left hand, you bump this up, you level up. So yeah, you do get souls as you go through. And if you die, you drop them and you have to recollect them. And yeah, you've got a lady you go to upgrade your gear.
Nice.
And then
I mean,
very
Castlevania
similar,
has stats too.
Every weapon is attuned. You know, like I'm using a sword that's got like dexterity, A, B level, whatever. So you level up dexterity, and go from that. And
yeah, that is very Souls-like. Where you get a particular weapon, and it's got a lot of different gear. I imagine per stat. Because that also, I'd say, is very defining when it's not just like a handful of upgrades that progress the experience. It's like you can play a completely different style.
The weapon combat's really fun because you've got your normal attack, but you've also got like a focus meter, which does like a special attack. And you've got to basically reset or like get a checkpoint to get that stuff back, or use like it's similar to like mana or anything like that with a game with a magic system, but it has like a different weapon form, which is probably why people compare it to like Bloodborne. So like each weapon almost has like a different weapon form that you can do these like special attacks with. But it's on a meter, so you can't just spam it because it does a huge amount of damage. So when you start fighting bosses, like once you learn the pacing, you learn when you can like just go ham and just like I'll just burn through like my meter and take a huge chunk of like boss health.
Are you picking up weapons, or you start with a weapon, or like you earn weapons?
Yeah,
like
just through like exploration, and you're just finding weapons, finding like an axe or a weapon. And there's also range weapons too. So you actually you find a pistol pretty early on as well, and then you can either have your pistol on or like a magic ability like that star that Fran was talking about. And then you've got all the buffs and debuffs you would normally expect. Like there's lightning and fire and poison and all that kind of stuff that you can build into as well.
The game is gorgeous too.
Cool.
Like, it's really pretty, really well animated. My only question is, and I don't know if you'll be able to answer this yet, I wonder how like varied it's going to be, because a lot of the promo materials really look a little samey. Like it doesn't look like there's a huge variety in environments and stuff that they.
The environment I've seen so far is very typical. Was it like Gothic Victorian?
Right.
It's Tuesday in Bloodborne style carriages, horses, that kind of stuff. Manners and similar themes. So I haven't got probably far enough in to see different areas. It does look great, but it is it is in that theme. And same with the storytelling. The storytelling is very typical, like Souls theme. Oh, you're the corrupted. It's like la la la, do the thing. And you're like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. I need to play it 4 times to like work out what's happening.
You mentioned Blasphemous 2 earlier, and it does look like it's similar type of game to Blasphemous 2. Blasphemous 2 is much more like religious, like in theming, but the gameplay seems a lot very similar.
And man titty feeding babies.
Which, I mean, every game should have.
Yeah.
Callus
did it.
He squirts the milk on the baby's face.
Yeah, as one does.
I never played Blasphemous 2. Did
it's
you guys
amazing.
play that?
I'm halfway through it and I love it, but it's very difficult.
People said like there was big chats when I was playing this game. People were like, it's changed my perspective on gaming. I'm like, huh? What's going on? Like that's
Blasphemous 2 did?
Yeah. I don't know. People
I'm gonna have to play
really
through
enjoy it.
It was when it came out. What was it? When it like a few days before something else came out.
August.
Armored Core.
Oh, it was Armored Core. That's right. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
That's another one to revisit because I want to play Alan Wake 2. I want to play The Last Faith. I want to play Blasphemous 2. Pikmin.
A little side quest joke in there.
Pikmin might win the Game Awards.
Fran, I actually played Pikmin.
No, you did not. You're going to drop that bomb on. God. He did get me on that. I actually legitimately believe him because of the new show format.
Excited,
I was
Fran.
all like
Come
amped
on.
from the like everybody's coming together. It's a great night, and he's a liar. Filthy liar.
He was so excited. You got to do it now. That was such a happy moment in time.
Yeah, that one that hurt.
Away.
That hurt me.
We did have some Destiny news to talk about today. Does anybody have any other games they want to talk about first, or do you want to jump into some Destiny?
Remnant.
Yeah, I got
Remnant.
Yeah. Oh, we got a lot actually. Yeah. So the DLC came out. It's Tuesday. I forgot what day it was. It came out on Tuesday. The DLC did. It's their first DLC. It's called The Awakened King. And if you've played Remnant 2, it follows the storyline in Losum, which is the very Bloodborne-looking area. And you would have met the Awakened King at some point during your playthrough of the base game of Remnant.
Does he spray
it's going through
titty milk on babies?
No, but he does have a weapon full of fae. So similar.
Is that like fairies?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty much, yeah. The devilish fairies. Are fairies devilish?
I don't know. It depends on which
Or
show you're on.
elves
You've played
devilish.
Zelda, I think so. Haunt your dreams.
But this DLC, it introduced a new storyline, new boss fights, new dungeons, new weapons, new rings, amulets, a new class. They also brought in a new weapon that requires you to go to every single zone of the base game and talk to a person there in order to unlock this new weapon. And you can't die while you're doing it.
Hardcore baby.
You do all these like super specific things the gun is called Anguish. Do these super specific things to trigger it, and you have to roll the perfect, apparently you can't do it in adventure mode, but you have to roll the perfect layout for all of the sections. So it's got to be like the Night Weaver boss. It's got to be like this other boss in another area. It's got to be like a specific thing in every single area.
Would you know that until you've explored the whole area?
So here's the thing. If you're playing legitimately, no. So you would roll your campaign and you'd be like, sweet, I got the thing I need. You complete the whole story of that area. You go to the next area, like, it's the wrong one. Got to start again. But
you got to start everything over again.
So this was only found today. So we're getting some mixed things about how you do it. Initially, they were like, you have to have the perfect campaign roll to get it done. So it has to all be in the same campaign. Is this the gun that
no one's got yet? No one's actually got it yet? Because I saw something on Twitter, but I don't know if they got it today.
This was the gun that they didn't know. But then someone in chat told me earlier today that you can get it through adventure mode, which means you don't have to re-roll a campaign, and it has to be like 4 perfect things. You can do adventure and look for the perfect things, supposedly.
You can roll individual like levels in adventure, right?
Yeah, you can do individual levels.
Rather than a whole campaign.
Yeah. But it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. You got to meet him in every single zone, including the labyrinth. You have to talk to him. You have to find him in those zones. So before you had a guide for it, he's hiding somewhere. So
is he an NPC?
He is.
Like a new NPC?
He is. Yep.
Right.
And you talk to him. He's a Dran. So
they've been doing some cool stuff. Are they the horn dudes?
Those are the lowly people to the Fae. They were the people that you ate during the Great Hall event.
Right.
Cannibalism.
Remnant 2 is bloody fantastic.
It's so good. Like that, yes, they gave us a whole DLC with a new storyline and brand new everything. And the really cool thing that they did with this actually is you roll it in adventure mode, and it makes sure, if they're calling it a one shot, which is very D&D, but they're calling it a one shot. And if you roll it in there, it makes sure that you get only the new dungeon, only the new weapons, only the new rings, only the new bosses. Whereas if you just start rolling it again, you could get a mixture of old and new. So it really does kind of make its way into the main game. And the fact that they've spread out all these mysteries and they've spread out a bunch of new stuff throughout every zone, as well as giving you this brand new zone for $10.
$10.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
Really?
It feels like so communal too, like with requiring so many people to figure all this stuff out. And I can see why so many Destiny players have ventured over there to play it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cause like so many things, you're just like, how would you do this without the whole community trying to figure it out? It'd be impossible.
Tell us about the oranges.
The orange, yeah. So there was, it came from the. Okay, so there is an amulet, and I think it's an amulet and an item that is like orange slices and a participation award is what the name is. And this is something that you get for doing something in the hardest mode, which is apocalypse mode. And the way that you get it is by dying 10 times to one boss on apocalypse mode, and then you get this thing of like, it's supposed to be a joke, right? Of a participation trophy or an orange slice. And this way that this came about is because someone said they need to nerf apocalypse mode. It's too hard. And the dev was like, it's called apocalypse, not have a participation award and a slice of orange. So they put in these items so where if you die on apocalypse mode, you get
slice of orange and
That's good.
an amulet participation award. Yeah,
it's great. Yeah,
That's very
the
good.
devs on Remnant are incredible.
They're doing some good stuff.
They're very funny. They're doing great stuff. It's super consumer friendly as well, because like if you don't have this DLC, you can play through the entire story with your friend for free. You don't need to have it.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, you don't get to, so you get to keep the weapons and stuff, but you can't use it in your own world until you buy the DLC. But you get to play the entire story, all the boss fights, the dungeons, everything with your friend.
Pretty fair.
For free. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Huh.
Yeah. So
And
Remnant 2 is
$10,
doing
I bet
good
they're gonna
stuff.
sell a bunch of those too that way.
$10, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
$10.
bargain. That's like a Black Friday deal.
Yeah, it's really good. And especially if you like Destiny, I can pretty much guarantee that you would like Remnant 2. Like all the build crafting in that game, all of the secrets to find out, the things to go after and discover is really good. They did a great job with all of it. And this DLC has been great. And it's really interesting because one of the developers put out a tweet a while ago with a poll that said, which class would you be interested in, or which class most intrigues you, or which would you be most interested in? And he gave a description of 3 classes, one being deals with status effects and stuff. That is the one that won, and that is the DLC we got. So
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to do it again and be like, hey, what do you want to see next? And they're like,
That's
okay,
cool.
cool, give them that one. Because, yeah, they can do that in Remnant because it's just worlds. So they could release, like, any world at any time.
That's neat.
Wow.
Is it PC only?
No, it's PC,
No.
Xbox, PlayStation. It's on all the stuff.
I saw that come up in chat. I didn't know the answer.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Very good.
I
Get
know
you
that
some
one's got a
Remnant.
hold of TV as well, or it did this summer. I
He
don't
put
know.
out
Oh, yeah,
so
he-
many
he-
videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, he covered a lot. Because they just
Also,
had so
it's
many
like
like little
$50
secrets
too.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main game isn't even like a full price game. So
Yeah, it's on sale right now. I saw it for $35.
Oh wow.
Um,
So you get the-
$35.
that
Yeah,
and the
on
DLC
Steam.
for 45.
Yeah,
wow.
on Steam, and then there's going to be 3 DLCs. It looks like, right? So you could get the bundle, and that'll actually be even cheaper than $9.99 a DLC, right? So if you're planning to play it all, seems like everybody's loving all the content.
You got hundreds of hours in that game if you want to like go and do
Yeah.
everything and make everything. So that's
You talk
I
about a
haven't played it
level
yet.
up, but
Oh,
from
yeah.
the first one to the second one too. Like what a drastic difference in just like video fidelity. Like it just looks so much better. The first one was really fun, but not a looker. The second one looks amazing.
Yeah, I always mentioned that. I forgot that they had at some point switched, I think, to the Unreal Engine 5 for this, which is like one of the first Unreal Engine 5
didn't
games, and
realize
it's
that.
actually kind of subtly so. Like, some of the other games, like they were hinging, I think, more on that. Like, hey, it's on Unreal Engine 5, but they're just like, it's
Unreal
Remnant,
5.
and it does. Like, it looks like Remnant, but it looks really nice. I played it and it didn't even occur to me, and I've been like trying to see all the new Unreal Engine 5 stuff, like Immortals of Avium, but yeah, it's awesome to see.
And for you Destiny folks, you will appreciate that the
Sure.
Remnant 2 devs named a ring a Terry booster after Astacross because he called his turret Terry. So they made a Terry booster.
Terry Booster.
So, yeah.
I
Yeah,
love
the devs are
That's
great.
awesome.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Nice.
Good studio, good game. Not even a full price game. Definitely try it out if you haven't already. And you don't need to play the first one to play the second one at all. So you're free to just jump into the second one.
It's awesome.
Nice. We also played RoboQuest.
Yeah.
What's
I feel
that?
like
Which is,
the whole Destiny community has been playing RoboQuest. I think
Really?
everyone got sponsored to play it. I'm pretty sure
nice.
everyone did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got sponsored to play it, but this is not a sponsored segment.
No,
Unless they
not
make
at all.
contact, then it might be.
RoboQuest.
It's a first person shooter rogue light with a Borderlands aesthetic and a pumping soundtrack.
Mhm.
Feels and plays great. I have actually just been like playing it off stream, so that's how you know it's good. Like when I like kind of jump in and play a little bit off
Works
stream.
on
so I can get a little
Steam Deck too, which is very dangerous. I'm gonna uninstall it because I'm never gonna sleep again.
Yeah, it looked. That's right. I remember seeing this. It looked very Borderlandsy, like as a roguelite.
It does,
or
yeah,
something.
very cell shady. Yeah.
Without even seeing any of the clips of the game, like just the screenshot of a first-person view, it just looks clean. Like it just looks like it plays smooth.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, did you use controller? I use mouse and keyboard.
I use mouse and keyboard. Yeah.
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 it felt
Mouse
good.
and keyboard, it feels really good. Someone in chat like downloaded it when I was doing the stream for it, and they were using a controller, and they said it felt great. So yeah, it plays really well. All of the weapons are really interesting. It's a roguelike, of course, so you're doing kind of the typical thing of going out and obtaining stuff, and then when you die, you get like a currency to get unlocked so you can get better guns or more variety of guns when you go back out. And it's just really fun. Like there's different classes as well. You don't normally get different classes in roguelikes. It's normally just one guy that you play as, but there's different classes that have different abilities. And I unlocked 3 in my like 2 hours, but I got one that was
as well.
like the invisible sneaky sniper guy. That guy's very fun.
Yeah. So my very first time playing, I basically made a Titan build, and it was literally called Bonk, like a Bonk hammer. And I got like I got a like whatever you call like a perk. You know, you get the random perks, and it's like get health back on Bonk. And I was just literally being a Titan, just hitting everything, jumping on the head, because you can also jump. Like the game
you can Goomba stomp on him.
Wants you to like basically like run through, move around. It's all about like going fast because you get better scores for like completing the level quicker and all that kind of stuff. But you can just jump on the head and then smash him with a hammer. So I'm just like running around, and then it also wants you to not play passively because you get health when you kill an enemy. So I basically had this perk that like doubles the health you get when you kill an enemy, and then I had like 50% extra damage on Bonk Hammer, and I was literally a Titan in a dungeon just whacking everything with this hammer. And then the stealth guys, what I've like gravitated towards now, just because it's very nice to going invis, and you get a whole bunch of buffs when you come out of invis. And
yeah, you go invis, you set up a decoy, so then they're shooting the decoy, and then it marks enemies, and then if you hit marked enemies, you can get like as you progress, you can get upgrades for that. So it's like if you hit a marked enemy, it does a status effect or extra damage or whatever it may do. So yeah, it's really good.
I think it was at a pretty good price point too. I think it definitely wasn't a full price from memory. I think it was like,
let me take a look.
I want to say it was like $30 Australian, so it might have been like $20. Maybe?
It's $24.99.
Yeah, $24.99 on Steam.
I think that's really good for what you get.
It came out November
7th.
I have to double check that. I feel like it's
on
probably
but
It's
I'm
on
not
Xbox. It says.
Oh,
okay.
Is it Game Pass maybe? That'd be a great Game Pass game.
Oh, it is on Game Pass. It is on Game
Nice.
Pass. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect for Game Pass.
Really?
I gotta resubscribe
Oh, there
to
you
Game
go.
Pass. There's a bunch
Oh
of
yeah,
stuff
you
on
got
Game Pass.
you got to play it on Game Pass. So on Steam, this came out November 7th. It's already got 5,890 reviews. It's an indie game, and they're very positive.
Good.
And this was in early access for I think 3 years before they went into 1.0. So man, early access does real good for games. Look at Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate had early access. You spend time with people playing your game and giving feedback for years, you can put out some really good stuff.
You mentioned that this plays well on the Steam Deck too.
It does.
That's great.
Works on Steam Deck. Yep. It's so good on Steam Deck. But it's so dangerous having any roguelike on a Steam Deck because it's very easy to be like, do one more run.
I got a
One more
story
run.
about that.
One more run. Yeah.
We were talking
more
about
run,
the Steam
yeah.
Deck on Monday's show, on Monday SideQuest show. We were
OLED.
talking about the new OLED Steam Deck. And I was like, oh, I'm going to play a little. I had started playing Chrono Trigger on my Steam Deck. I'm going to pull that thing out, and I'm going to kind of continue my game save and keep going on it. And it was at like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to wrap it up. And I turned off Chrono Trigger, and I saw Vampire Saviors just kind of sitting
Oh, Vampire Survivors.
there. Survivors. Saviors? Survivors? Which one is it called? Survivors. You're right.
Survivors.
So I booted it up. I'll play one round. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I was like, what have I done? Delete this off
I've
of my
made a
Steam
mistake.
Deck.
So it was like 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah,
you
it was
were on
a 4-hour Vampire
game.
Survivors.
One more game.
Oh, man. That game, man. Oh, to hell with that game.
I think Nikkei, the big booty jiggling anime waifu game, recently put in a Vampire Survivors mode. So I need to get on and play that.
All right. Yeah, I got to.
Fire's like, oh, booty jiggling and Vampire
Can you
Survivors.
spell
That's my
Nikkei
two
for me?
favorite things. Nikke.
I
Mm-hmm.
probably
No.
No, it's not Japanese. I was thinking
Goddess
if
of
there's
Victory.
Goddess of Victory.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
It's
I'm
a
actually
free to
not
play
gonna search for
game.
that. Gonna ruin my search history if I search
Well,
this.
they were sponsoring Twitch streams for a while.
Yeah.
Mm.
They were asking people to stream Nikkei.
Yeah, this game, I was watching a stream of somebody playing, I can't even remember what game they were playing. And at the end of it, they're like, have you guys checked out Vampire Survivors? I was like, don't do it, dude. You can't stream Vampire Survivors. It's terrible for your bandwidth. Don't do it. And he did it. And it's like, oh, that does look like fun again. That game is like crack. It's terrible. It's like meth.
Yeah, I'm the.
Like you start playing it, your teeth fall out of your head. It's terrible.
You should check out Briar, you should check out Hoyo Cure. Sorry, Hollow Cure. No, I was thinking of Hoyoverse. Hollow Cure, yes. It's on Steam. It's got 19,000 reviews. Overwhelmingly positive. It's
YouTube
free.
Survivors.
Yes. So you are playing as famous HoloLive VTubers playing Vampire Survivors. And Asmongold said, this is the best Vampire Survivors game that you can play. So, yeah, people have been really enjoying it.
I don't know
It's
if I want another one of these in my life.
It's a solid game. It's a good game.
Can I write this down? Is this funny content? What's it called? Hold on, now you get
Hollow
me to it.
Hollow Cure,
You're
HOLO.
gonna skip over the big booty Vampire Survivors and go for the
Yeah,
VTubers?
you know what? I wasn't.
I mean,
thinking
tomato,
properly.
tomato. You know,
Wait, is it on Steam? Didn't come up.
it is on Steam. Hollow Cure.
Hollow what? Hollow
Cure.
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 That's not dubbed in.
Are you doing one word?
Oh, one word.
Yeah.
Yes, it's one word. And it's free.
Google just doesn't work right over there, does it?
Hollow Cure save the fans. Yeah.
Yep.
You
I think
got,
we should do a stream of
second-rate
this.
Google over there.
No
I'm
working.
gonna have to give it a play too.
I've still got more games on the list I've played today. If you want to keep going.
Would you want me to tell? Here's how. Before we move on, I will tell you. Here's how I get you to play. Here's a review that has a lot of thumbs up. Before I played Hollow Cure, Save the Fans, I had a small wee-wee, no friends, no girlfriend, and absolutely no will to live. None of these things have changed, but the game's pretty good. There you go.
Wow.
Yep. You're welcome.
Oh, hollow like that, like hologram. I was spelling.
Wait, how
like
are you
holo-
Are
spelling
you
it?
still like
Hollow-
looking for that?
Like Hollow
Like-
Knight.
Oh, like
bro.
Hollow
Knight?
Knight?
Yeah.
He's got Souls likes on the game. On the game? On mind. On the brain.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Oh my god, 20,000 positive.
Must play.
Must play game of the play of the year.
Well, talk about goofy games. I played Lethal Company with Rin and I could not stop
Yes.
laughing. Oh my god. I think it's like $10 or something. and it's basically Phasmophobia, you know, but in space where you go to different planets to get materials. You got to like reach this corporate quota, so you have to run into these buildings that are filled with monsters essentially, and try to get scrap material and bring it back to your ship. And of course, when you just have VoIP on, you know, your VoIP cuts out when you die. So you'd be like, Ren? You're like, oh god, something's got to. Yeah, it's very funny. You've probably seen a lot of people play it.
It looks like
I
ton
had
of
heard a
fun.
lot about it. Is it, when you say it's like Phasmophobia, I mean, like mechanically, it's a lot like it. You like sort of kit up in a room and then you go out and.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, your spaceship has like you can buy like flashlights and like weapons and things like that to fight back against the monsters. But when you first start off, you've got nothing, you know, and you've got to make a certain amount of money to meet the corporate overlords essentially. And yeah. So I think that's pretty similar to how Phasmophobia.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Right. Yeah,
that's cool.
Does it have just melee weapons, or is it?
I don't know. We can never get far enough. We always just keep dying. And then Rin just spent her money on a boombox and just just does nothing.
Respect level for Rin just went up a notch.
You just walk around and die.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're telling me.
The really funny thing is though, like when you die, your VoIP cuts off.
Yeah.
So you can just be screaming and then it just cuts off, and they're like, and then if other people die, you can talk to them. So you go, but when you're spectating, you can still hear their VoIP. So they're like,
how many
like,
players do you
hello?
have in a lobby?
man, where are you, man? Are you okay? Yeah, it's really funny. Like their mental thing that they're going through while they're trying to find your body or like get scrap material together.
I love that the VoIP as well. Cool. Like when you're in corridors and stuff, it changes the way your voice sounds.
Echoes.
So it actually sounds like the people are there. It's really good.
There's
I had a lot of fun watching.
Play.
I think it's 4 at a time. Yeah. And there's a face hugger that muffles your voice. Like,
oh my god! I hate that. It
goes on, and I'm like screaming in the microphone, and then like then the same thing happened to Rin, and we could hear her voice. It's like,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Seems like we need a DCP plays Lethal Company.
That does sound something.
That sounds like a new Sea of Thieves situation.
Yeah,
big chaos.
I'm so down. It sounds really fun.
There was some pretty big news in Destiny this week.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
I know we don't have time to talk about all the games we're playing, but just a shout out for Halo Infinite Season 5.
Yeah.
Oh, what's
it's
going on?
It's free. People always asking you, is Halo any good anymore? And I'm like, you haven't played it in 2 years. It's been out for 2 years. It's had tons of community help, you know, the Forge. I've always had fun in the game because of the physics system, etc. And I like arena-like shooters like that. It's just always a ton of fun. The ranked grind and all that, I can't speak to like competitive stuff. Like that's a different ball game. Like everybody's going to complain about matchmaking in every one of those types of setups. But man, I always have so much fun, and I just wanted to shout out. It brought back a bunch of maps from Halo 3 this time for this season.
Oh, really?
But it has a free event up, so whether you buy the $9, $10, you know, season pass or not, which of course is like some free stuff, but a lot of, you know, locked items. Like you can just do a 20 levels. It took me 5 hours. I did 20 levels of the combined arms event, and there's some really nice shaders, if you will, in there, and a couple other things. So it's just fun. Again, the takeaway is like people are always like, "Oh man, I don't know, is it any good?" I'm like, "It's free. Didn't it start
install
it and play it for."
Was good from the get go.
Yeah, I always
it was the
enjoy
best they've done in a while, for sure.
It's just like a sentiment thing. Yes, exactly. It's much thinner.
Launched.
It literally went from like, hey, we've got like 1 or 2 big team battle maps, and also we've got like 5 of these other maps. You know, again, just not exacts, but it's literally like there's so much in here now, and like the Forge maps that people brought stuff back. There's actually which Destiny map did they put in there? Somebody made one of the Destiny maps.
Was it
That's
Jab?
what I was gonna bring up is we have someone in our community. His name is the J Man, and he's been hosting Destiny tournaments on Halo but with Destiny maps recreated in Halo.
So
it's so
good.
I gotta check that out.
Honestly, the engine I really like, as much as those, when you have custom engines, it always has its own issues. Like I've always loved the physics and a lot of stuff. I think they're doing a killer job in terms of making that game fun. But I'll leave you with there was a mode that I didn't know about either, and maybe it was brought back from this existed in previous Halos. But the raid, it's like a Husky raid.
Husky raid.
Right, yeah, I hadn't played those before, but it's a linear.
Yep.
So you have two sides of the map, and you're trying to push through to get to the other side to get. It's kind of capture the flag, but it's a linear map. Like literally, you have to push through like a bulldozer.
It's a corridor.
Yeah, it's a corridor.
Design.
Better way to put it. It's literally a tunnel, roughly speaking.
With Fiesta, random loadouts.
Yeah,
so you can get a rocket or a grav cannon, and it's just pure mayhem. And
is it a PvP mode, where there's a player on the other side too?
Yeah, and the way to do it, which I haven't, would be totally similarly. We I forget if it's 5v5 or 8v8 or whatever. But we would all get together and then face another 5. And if you're on comms, I bet you that's a blast.
Yeah.
If you're not on comms, it's still fun, but it's actually super challenging. But there's that and more. There's so much that I haven't even played. People remade. It's part of the Forge. They've remade old Halo maps, but 343 has also remade old Halo maps, and so it's just there's a ton to experience. And again, for it being free, I just wanted to say, stop asking if it's any good anymore and play it. And I'm telling you, it's fun. Play it for a few hours.
I've heard
you will not regret
really
it.
good stuff since they brought Forge. That's when things started online. The narrative started being hold on a second.
Yeah.
Halo's kind of fun. And since then, it's been nothing but positive stuff that I've heard. I think it's just obviously unfortunate that people's first impression was Halo's not that good. So then they're just constantly wait, why is he playing this game? This game sucks.
Exactly. Yeah, it's on the right track. And especially, honestly, for Destiny fans, is a game, Destiny, that was born out of Halo. And even though it's 343 now, you still feel some of those inspirations in, it's an arena shooter, an arena-like shooter. I can't even think of any other arena-type shooters that are
there
like
isn't
this.
any.
Yeah,
there's really not anymore.
Yeah.
They make Valorant-likes or CSGO likes, or there's BR.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are your options.
And as much as I would love an extraction mode and more BR type explorations for Halo, I'm glad they're focused on this and to be able. That's why I go play it. Again, I'm not looking to play 200 hours in a Halo extraction shooter. Now, again, I think that could be awesome, but I don't want it at the expense of what we have today.
Someone made a BR in Forge that you can play.
They did, yeah.
I heard about this.
Wow.
They did.
And they had a mode that they even did officially called Last Stand or something. So they've got there's a lot in there now. So
because they added
download this. I haven't played it since launch.
They added AI to Forge, so that opened up a whole bunch of new possibilities for game modes. So I played a tower defense game. It was literally tower defense where you buy bots and you sit on rails and they just put teleports between each thing and they just have enemies come through and you gotta upgrade your weapons and stuff to
I think this is where I often go with this is in a way it's even though it's a very different game than Destiny and you can't compare, but because of their beginnings and ends and everything right now, it is in a way it eats Bungie's lunch of look what they did in 2 years with the community, with the Forge mode. It's super playful. It's extremely messy, but honestly, it's going in the right direction. And I think that's a great place to be for, again, it's a free to play mode, but honestly, the quality is amazing. So I always have tons of fun, but again, I'm not looking to play for 200 hours of ranked. It's a very different feedback loop.
My only complaint is the UI is still awful, and especially Forge. If you're not familiar with how Forge functions, I'm getting step-by-step instructions of how, if you got something specific, if you want to go play Halo Battle Royale, good fucking luck. I made a video on how to find it, how to actually find it and how to put the settings in right so you can actually do it. So you do kind of need someone like that, unless you just join. If you're setting up your own games, otherwise you just join someone else's, and it's fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I do like, Fran, the tweet that I think you tweeted it out today. about how it's so good to just jump in for a bit and then just jump out. You don't have to keep, you said, you don't have to grind comp or whatever. You can just play to your heart's content and then jump out, go back to Destiny, go back to whatever else you're playing, then come back when they update another season, or when you just feel like playing an arena shooter.
Yep. Yeah, and that's how I play it. And again, it's I always feel like every time I see feedback, and it might just be the people I follow in my algorithm, but I'm like, every time people complain about Halo, at least, it's sort of this very serious, the state of, and I'm just like, dude, this game's fun every time I play it. The moments, it's full of moments because the engine they developed. So love or hate certain maps and all this. But yeah, I had 5 hours of fun. I had planned to play it for a few and to go to bed early. And I'm like, I'm finishing this pass. And I actually started to get like an adrenaline boost towards the end because I was starting to like do well and have tons of fun. So again, it being so easy to play, that was the important part too, is please stop asking if it's any good. Like, please play this game for an hour. Like, seriously, it'll take you like 90 minutes to answer your own question. Go play a fun game.
Is it free only on Game Pass, or can you play the free version off of Steam too?
I should be free everywhere. I mean, it is free. If it's on Steam, it's free. So
I think the multiplayer is free. I think the multiplayer is free regardless.
There's no catch.
Yep. If you go to Halo Infinite, there's Halo Infinite, and then there's Halo Infinite the campaign. Halo Infinite is free, which is all the multiplayer stuff that we're talking about.
I actually I used to play multiplayer on there because remember, multiplayer launched a few weeks before the game officially came out in full, sort of like a beta / release for multiplayer, free to play. So yeah, you can play it anywhere. And yeah, I'm telling you, big fun.
The biggest thing I've found with like playing Halo Infinite is like I played a bunch of games and I had fun. And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done. Like I'll get off now. And then like this is weird thing. I was like, I don't feel obligated to keep playing.
Yes.
What is this feeling? Suck your soul in like a live service
I kind of had fun. And I played
it for a little bit.
And then I got off.
Yeah.
And it's weird. Like it's like
weird.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. I never like felt like I was sucked into like it being a job or live service, or like I have to grind, I have to get this level. It's like I got on, I played some fun matches, then I had enough, I went to bed.
That's how it's so weird, isn't it? Because like your brain changes to where just playing a game for fun is just not really a thing that you do anymore. It's like I'm playing it to gain a thing. I'm playing it to get this gun. I'm playing it to do the battle pass. I'm playing it to keep up. I'm playing it to make a video if you're in content creation. It's never just like, kind of hop on, play a couple games, get off.
Yeah.
I think that's part of what fueled my kind of like retro revival a few years ago. Is like just going and playing like Ninja Gaiden on the NES was just such a pure and fun experience. And there's nothing like after Ninja Gaiden, and there was no reward, there was no achievements. It was just you play and you run straight and sword guys and jump, and it just felt good and it was fun. And then when you turn it off, you just walk away from it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's worth noting. The irony is I decided I was jumping into this because I was burnout from playing more Diablo Season 2, which, again, I'm enjoying, but still, it's a live service type grind. And then Modern Warfare Zombies, which we talked a little bit about on SideQuest, the show we did on Tuesday earlier. That's not part of this show, which you're listening to right now. But yeah, Modern Warfare Zombies struck me as odd because it's based on DMZ, which is a free mode, but Zombies has always been part of the paid content, and it is, by the way, don't get confused. But so you play Modern Warfare Zombies, but it's like DMZ, and it's based on it. It's open map, Warzone type map, DMZ extraction with tons of zombies. But long story short, I realized after playing that one, I'm like, this is such a grind, man. I put in like 60, 70 hours, and I was just like,
wow,
I really want to play more, but I'm like struggling to get to the deeper part of the game because it's such a grind. And again, I hopped into Halo, and after 10 minutes, I was like, whew, it's fun.
So you said Zombies is paid, like you have to pay that, but you don't have to pay DMZ.
It's the third flavor of Call of Duty paid content, right? Campaign, multiplayer, and Zombies, and all of them are rooted in the same UI, the same store. And like, just as the example I had talked about on the show, but it's got Acts 1, 2, 3, and you unlock insured weapons. I'm not going to get too deep into this unless you want, but like it uses DMZ mechanics. And so because of this, you now have Zombies, which is part of the Act 1 story. It has a killer cutscene, by the way, in the opening. And then like, I don't know what else it has for it. But the point is, part of Act 1 is like, use cryo mod to slow 10 hellhounds. And I'm shooting like dogs in the leg because they die too fast. Like, you got to freeze them. And so, like, anyway, it's not worth getting into. I'm like, that's not really Act 1 Zombies that I was looking for. I mean, I know it's always had kind of some of this, but it is literally, I played hundreds of hours of DMZ, which again was free, and I assume will be free when Warzone comes out with season 1 and all that in a few weeks or whatever it is. But yeah, the grind for DMZ is like that, and I just feel like it's fun. That's what's really odd. Zombies is fun. You should go check out the new format.
You actually liked it?
Oh yeah, I
that
think
was kind
I
of a
actually.
question, yeah.
I think the irony is I played Modern Warfare Modern Warfare DMZ, and I think I was playing for hundreds of hours. Like, man, and you know what would be really cool? I remember now. I'm like, if they did like zombies in this, that would be fun because I'm tired of everybody like sneaking up on me. I'm like, I just want to have some fun, and then they did it. But it's paid for, and it's still got the grind. And I think that's where it feels like a good start.
That's a kind of weird thing because, like, I remember playing Zombies way back in the day, and you'd hop into Zombies just to like get some fun little gaming time, and that was it. You weren't like working towards something unless you know you're working towards getting the chest or any kind of juice to buff your character in that moment, but you're not like grinding to unlock a thing. And it was really a mode that you could jump in and just have some fun and not think about any of that stuff.
Yeah, and to be clear, what you're grinding is you start, there's tiers 1, 2, and 3, and it's super difficult when you get in tier 2 and 3. What happens is you need to upgrade your gun to a higher tier level and rarity level at the same time. So there's rarity plus, they call it Pack-a-Punch, level 1, level 2. And anyway, you got to add those things together to get into the later tiers, but it's such a grind. You only have 45 minutes to do it that it's a little roguelite where you're extracting crafting materials and some other things. So you can actually make your gun a rarity, but then it's on like a cooldown because it's these DMZ mechanics. And anyway, again, the irony is for people who never played DMZ and maybe even Zombies, they might be like, this is so cool. And they might not even think about it, and they'll play it for like 300 hours. But I'm coming at it from a different thing. I was like, I really like it, but it's too much of a grind to have fun. I haven't even really gotten to tier 3, and I've played for a good 50 hours probably. I mean, I've been in there, but it's hard.
It sounds appealing coming from someone who's just played DMZ. Like, I don't have the full Call of Duty thing, but I put tons of hours into DMZ because I was so interested in learning more about extraction shooters when Marathon was announced. And so, like, I love playing DMZ and put so much time into it. And so I'm interested in Zombies the way you've described it. But the fact that that is paid content mixed in with the other Call of Duty stuff, it just gets really confusing. And I'm like, do I want to try it out for that? Or I could just play DMZ for free.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No,
that's good. It's interesting.
It is interesting because I haven't played Zombies.
It's fun. We should play. Like, that's irony.
Zombies?
Last year, I think, right? Was it Black Ops 3 last year? And I'm pretty sure the Zombies is, I believe, every year. Again, it's like one of their main 3 pillars, and the whole game went this undertaking of like, you know, Sledgehammer clapped back and said, no, we've worked on it for years. But like, in other words,
there
didn't seem to be enough time that the campaign seems to be like morphed out of the Warzone map stuff, right? And then and then multiplayer is always like the big, huge new effort, of course. But then Zombies is like using DMZ to create zombies. So it seems like they were strapped. But I do think, you know, you're gonna break some eggs to make that omelet. There's some good things in there with Zombies, so feels like a beta to me and a step in the right direction. But
I did hear a lot of people saying it felt like it was rushed or something at some point during development. Maybe they had to like start again on some stuff, or some stuff didn't work out and they had to rush it. But then, the dev came out and said, we've been working on it for years.
Yeah.
So
the reports specifically were that they were going to do Modern Warfare 2 campaign additive content, DLC, I believe. Yeah. And then they were like, well, that actually turned into a full release. Like, that's the reports, but they say, nah, you know, we were planning to do this.
Yeah.
Sure you were.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, I'm pretty sure Jason, I don't know if I'm making this up. I thought Jason Schreier actually had sources and spoke to people that were originally told that it was a DLC or something like that.
No, that's what I'm referencing.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Bloomberg, Jason Schreier's report that it was that. In the same way that he's reporting that Destiny, the final shape, is delayed, and that is not being
we still haven't
confirmed.
Heard anything.
No.
Yeah.
Did you see him going against replies on Twitter? Someone would be like, I don't know if I trust, you know, that they haven't said it officially, and he's like, you're gonna regret this tweet.
He's like, bet. Which that's, by the way, as a reporter, there's a ton of confidence. It's supposed to come out February 27th, which is my birthday, which is why I remember. And then now it's gonna get delayed, and he's that confident to be like, bet He's just like not bad. He's like, there's no chance they'll change course. That's how sure he is, which is wild.
I am sure it is getting delayed because they're saying, especially with them saying like, we want this to be like the best DLC ever, pretty much. Like it's at that level, right? And then we also heard the report that inside people were saying that it's good, but it's not great. They don't think it's good enough for like the conclusion of a 10-year saga. So
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it will be delayed. It's honestly not a lot of time to work on it in general for that size of a thing without doing some serious crunch, which we know Bungie generally doesn't want to do. I hope they still are sticking to that.
Right.
It would be a safer
delayed
bet.
too.
Me too.
To say it. Just say it's delayed so that like we can all,
Also, yeah, if it wasn't being delayed, wouldn't they have come out and been like, no, it's still the same. But they just said nothing.
There was one rumor that was like, or thought process that was, well, maybe they haven't announced it yet because they want to announce a plan with it. Like, hey, we're going to for sure have this in its place or to keep you satisfied until it comes.
Right. Like
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Is that tentative? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's basically what you're saying, Briar, I think, is that if it's just June, but they don't have a date in June, they're going to want to have a date. And then they're probably going to want to be able to tell us, like, well, here's our plan for this period where there would be a season. So I'm sure there's just a lot of legal stuff they have to figure out. They probably don't want to put a date on anything until they've talked to everyone to know that that's the date. Because you don't want to start putting dates on stuff. And then it's like, actually, it's going to be July.
Right.
Or even a week later. You don't want to have to change the date to a week later because that's a ton of money.
Yeah, it's like, it's an easy knee-jerk reaction to be like, yeah, like they need to say something about it because of all the news. However, the irony is we're the first to call them out for it is you need a roadmap. Where's your plan? This is where we started with Bungie. It was like, you are not getting the plan together. We need a plan. And I think that's from both a PR perspective and community perspective. They're like, we need to come out swinging because they're already upset. So when we tell them it's delayed, it better be a good announcement and not a bad one. Honestly, they're in the corner.
There's been a lot of bad. They talk about the Game Awards.
So you got to think of it that way. They are in the corner, just beat down, and they got one more round to take us into the next match. And I screwed up my boxing analogy, but you get it. So they got to come out swinging, and I think that's the point.
Agreed.
The Game Awards.
What about the Game Awards? What could possibly? It's a celebration of people's
We can
work.
just talk about the Destiny part, which is a celebration, Briar. I say because they were nominated for Best Music.
Awesome.
I'm just kidding. It's Best Community Support.
All those people who won those awards right over there. Oh wait.
Best Community Support.
Well,
Destiny
and they're going to be
2.
there. Liana was talking about her attending too, which is just.
So
originally she was attending.
So
she is still attending.
She's
but
still
not
going.
under
She's
Bungie.
going for the first time, and she's going for like her personal thing. Yeah.
Well, she should. Maybe she'll win an award though.
This is the thing. I voted for Destiny 2. Now my reasoning is because there's a few different thoughts on it, but my reasoning for it was, wouldn't it be incredible for Liana to be in the audience and for this announcement to come and she can sit there and be like, yeah, our work was really, really good.
Yeah.
The suits made a bad choice in letting us go. And I think they did do a really good job. I think Liana and all that team has done a good job. And they've also been through a lot of bad stuff whilst doing their job. So I voted for Destiny 2 to win Best Community Support.
I mean, have a look at any other game. Like, even though we always complain about transparency and communication, I think it's still far ahead of a lot of other games with what you get. You don't get anything. You're like, hey, here's your fucking meal, eat it. Like, here's a DLC, do what you want with it. Like, it's not weekly updates from specific people and experts on the team.
And
telling you what's happening every week.
And you got to remember, the Game Awards, like the nominees and the votes, they're locked through like roughly mid-October, around now. So like that's baked already. Things have just gone down. It remains to be seen. In fact, did we just get our second full update from the community team with this week, the TWID? We're just seeing,
Stop that. Don't call it that.
The Tweety. Tweety. Yeah, it's a stupid name. Twab.
I want my Twimmy as well. And
it's
then
so
Twitty,
impersonal now because you never know who is writing it. Just Destiny 2 team, and even I saw people trying to figure out who wrote it, like online, and it you can already feel the disconnect.
Yeah, there were people right at the end. There's an exclamation mark that is a link that links to a cat. So people were like, "We see you, Cosmo. We appreciate you."
But didn't they, even with Liana and everyone else, didn't they get away from, for a number of reasons? They haven't been labeling who does it for a long time anyway.
No,
right?
they actually had been up until
Tweet does, yeah.
Up until all this happened, which was really weird because they were using the D2 Teams account on Twitter, but not in the post.
Yeah, okay, that's why I'm confused about that. But okay.
Yeah.
You could always tell when it was Liana too. Like you could tell by how she was writing it. But yeah, they would mark it as Bruno or Liana at the end.
Maybe Deej is shadow writing them now, so maybe it's Deej.
He's moonlighting. That's his job.
Let's go, baby. I'll take
writing.
it. Yeah.
The whole thing sucks though because we're moving towards a thing where the the people in charge of the community are a little protected now under the D2 teams. Like that was the purpose of that, but it's happening in the worst way possible. Like this isn't the way we wanted to say goodbye to our community managers, having them actually be kicked out versus having D2 teams start to take over on its own, not the first week after we lost all our community managers. Like it just sucks as a transition.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. Want to read the twid from Cosmo, Bruno, Baby Cosmo? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a very, 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 very short Season of the Wish teaser trailer.
Yeah, it was real short.
Real short. I saw it on Twitter and I was like, I didn't even notice it was playing.
Broke.
What happened? It was just like showing the 15th wish. One of the wishes turned to Riven's face, went through a portal, Riven's foot. End.
Yeah, teaser.
Cars.
Well,
Cargos.
Well, interestingly, I just saw this morning someone tweeted me.
Oh.
And they said that the image description actually says that it's Riven.
Oh.
Not
Riven.
The Riven.
Oh,
is it the ghost
page?
of Riven's past?
Actually, it says Riven of 1,000 Voices in the image description. So,
but that can be
necromancy new subclass for Final Shape.
Is in the source, you mean? Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So it could, I mean, it would explain a little bit. And I guess Marisol has Riven's heart still, right?
Didn't
it's
a love story.
Mara's got my heart.
Mara's got a lot of hearts. She breaks all of them, to be honest.
She does. How many times am I going to have to go through a portal and talk to her this season, though?
A lot.
A lot. But
who knows?
Once I
Maybe
talk
she'll just be
her,
like, good luck, Guardians. We're going with Riven. We'll ride a dragon somewhere. And I don't
mind it.
Boom.
But when I get there and I talk to her, and then she goes to the little hologram thing, even though I just talked to her, that's when I really get upset. Oh, okay. We just talked, and now you're making me hit the hologram too?
Honestly, a lot of people felt that. I think this season, actually, when they were catching up, I heard that from a lot of people this season, that there was a lot of like going to radio, going to holo, going to person, going to radio, going to holo, and they were just like, I'm tired.
Yeah, they did.
Getting sleepy.
It's been a mechanic for, it's funny. I haven't played this season more than the first week, I think, but it's just been an ongoing mechanic because they got to stage characters and other stuff. But I always think it's funny when you get done with a major update and then it's like your update pops up and it's like, talk to Mara on. I'm like, she was just here. Why are you so needy?
She's calling me again. God damn it.
Hi, I just got home. Thought I'd give you a quick hologram call.
Yeah.
Changed my number.
Just letting you know I got home safely. I had a really good time.
Exactly. It's just
Same
like that.
time next week.
Riven settling in very nice, very comfortable. We got a new area.
See, I would want an update if you got a new puppy called Riven. Right. I want to know how the Riven puppy's going.
I would be
Riven
puppy that tomorrow.
Lego's getting a new puppy tomorrow.
Yeah. What's it called again? It's a spaniel.
French Brittany.
French Brittany. French
There,
Brittany.
Yes.
Brittany.
No, it's kind of like real life though, having somebody call you right afterwards, because you've got that. I feel like this always happens to me whenever my wife leaves the house. You have that conversation about the day, and then she leaves, and then as soon as she takes off, I get a text like, "Oh yeah, don't forget blah 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 blah."
True.
So it's like
It is.
Eris is doing that every time.
One more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
is
happening
true.
a lot.
Yeah, sorry, I was meant to tell you about the 15th, which completely slipped my mind. Don't use the Wall of Wishes, it's cursed.
And then you're in the portal, and you're just like,
beep, 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 beep.
You're like, wait, I just punched the code. Oh no, I'm gonna be late for dinner tonight. Have you guys talked much about season of the Wish? I mean, the only thing I've said about it, knowing very little at this point, because I haven't even finished this season, but I do think it's important to remember, like, it's not like they had all these problems and changes at Bungie, the potential reported delay, and then decided to do the Season of the Wish. We are staring at the Season of the Wish, which harkens back to one of the most beloved raids and times in Destiny 2, which was staging and is still the staging for the final shape. I mean,
yeah.
If you put it all on black and white on paper, you're like, this should be a really good season. I mean, it should be. But I mean, we don't know anything about it.
It
right?
could be, or it could just be like a kind of a late season because all of their efforts were really going into.
But that's my point. And maybe it's worth throwing back to what was the season? More than anything, it was the prologue, as I called it, to Witch Queen. Whatever the season was that led into Witch Queen. I think was that the one we even had like the live Fortnite-esque event at the tower. That was an aside, but remember that, by the way?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Never did that again. I
blew up.
Clearly was very hard to do that because we never got that again.
Yeah.
But
they
anyway,
even they spoke about that anyway, saying that it was really hard and you might not do it again. I think,
they're like, why did we decide to do that?
But the point
like,
I'm trying
Jesus
to make
Christ.
is, that the story and the vibe, it was like a prologue. That was for the Witch Queen. I mean, the final shape has been, I have to imagine, a labor of love for many, many years. So I have high hopes for the Season of Wish to that end. I don't expect it to suddenly solve the seasonal like burnout of like that's kind of like other seasons, but I would still expect it to be pretty quality. I mean, I'm just guessing, obviously, but it's important to remember
I think story-wise, it'll be great. It's a great topic, similar to Eris Morn. Like I thought, Season of the Witch was good. But it wasn't anything groundbreaking for me. Like the card system was cool. Like adding
hater.
Yeah, you know me, Mylan Bungie hater game.
No, yeah, from a story perspective, I thought it was a nice setup, though. I just remember, and I'm bad with, lore and stuff like that, but story plus even the game, but I was just remembered, like, I felt good getting hyped for, the season, and I was like, oh, it's kind of a prologue. They should do this every end of the year, so to speak. So I don't know.
But I feel like the one that I think of is Lightfall. Going into Lightfall, the end of that season was so good, where the Traveler like rose up, and we were like, "This is like the ending of a season going into." You're like hyped for the expansion. I hope that's what we feel going into.
You're just proving my point. I forgot about that. So they did it 2 times in a row. That means it should be the 3rd time in a row. How can they screw that part up?
Is this the last season before Final Shape?
I mean, it is until and if they officially delay it and do anything different. But it is.
Typically, the season before a big expansion is pretty good because
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like this one will be pretty good just because it's got a topic that a lot of us in the community, even if you're not really into the lore, you haven't been following the story very much, are excited about. Everyone loves dragons. And Riven was such a impressive raid. It was such an impressive. Everyone loves Mara. People love the Dreaming City. So it's got a lot of things that people really like.
Yeah.
And if we get a baby dragon to take care of, I mean,
that's what I'm hoping.
I mean, for $20 in the Eververse, you will.
Well, I was hoping that. So this was my plan. Was that we talked about last week, that you get a Tamagotchi that is a baby dragon that feeds into Destiny the game.
Wow.
That would be
Give me
awesome.
Wow.
Give me something in my real
Free
life. I
money,
can take
Bungie.
care
Come
of.
Yeah,
on.
that's
I mean,
free
not
money
free.
right there.
You have to make a Tamagotchi that feeds
That's
into your
brilliant.
game, which might be hard. I don't know.
I don't
I
know. They
love
were
this.
putting those things out by the billions back in the.
You can
early
get them like on
2000s.
your phone, right? You can get like a
Yeah.
get
yeah,
like
you
a-
can
a
make an
f-
app for that now. You don't have to actually have
Yeah.
a Tamagotchi on your keychain anymore.
I think,
put it in
I
the
think
Bungie app,
Bungie,
the Destiny app.
Bungie's about to realize how bad Destiny players are at parenting. My Tamagotchi hasn't been fed. My baby arm Kara is
You
overweight.
can't
hasn't
progress
been
the
walked.
season because you didn't feed your Tamagotchi.
That's
It's
what I was
dead.
going to ask is what happens when I kill it, Watts?
You don't
What's
get an
the
exotic.
other story?
You gotta regrow another one for the X
Your
amount of
RNG
weeks.
gets bad.
Already sucks. You know what's funny is it reminded me of, if you remember on Dreamcast, they launched this little like microphone you could attach to the controller.
Oh, for Seaman?
And Seaman, yeah, and you would talk to this like weird bald-headed fish dude in the tank. But I was just
do you mean
thinking
weird?
about the aquarium and fishing, and I was like, you should pull out a little like sea dragon and put it in the tank, and then like using your in-game mic, you got to go up and like talk to it and do not only feed it, but doing so, then you also
Yeah.
have to talk to it. I would like tell Seaman and be like, I hate you. Go die. I hate you. Don't talk to me anyway. And you know, you try to make him feel bad.
Who's the
I
weird
know, but
one here, Fran?
you were testing his limits.
You're being mean
That's what
to
I would do.
1999 era AI.
Did
Shaped like a
Seaman
fish.
survive? You ever seen Seaman again? I was right.
Seaman's
Useless.
still alive and kicking. It's the microphone that died.
Yeah.
There's
But
no way
no,
to talk
they-
to Seaman anymore.
They do need a Tamagotchi type thing. They could do all the above.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be great.
Okay.
Twab.
There's so
Wow.
many false starts with the twab. Someone in the comments like, "Oh, is this it?
Is
Chat,
It's the 12. It's
Destiny
happening.
stuff."
We did. We're at the beginning of it, to be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah,
the
the
season
Season
of the
of
Witch
Wish.
teaser.
What else? We got the
Sure.
Dragon's Breath is coming back.
Dragon's Breath
Reimagined.
Reimagined. So this is a season pass reward. There's been some talk about that of whether it is okay to bring back a weapon and have it as a season pass exotic. And I'm gonna say I didn't hear anyone say that about Trespasser, and Trespasser remained the same, whereas Dragon's Breath is different. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we're all just a little upsetty at the moment. We need to go take a nap.
Yeah, I don't really care. I think it
Let's
looks
figure it
awesome.
Yeah, so let's talk about what is doing, because it is basically a different gun but with the same name from Destiny 1. So Burn the World, which is the intrinsic perk, the fuel counter passively increases the longer you go without firing it to a maximum of ×5. Firing Dragon's Breath then empties this counter, transferring all fuel to the rocket. Rockets that embed themselves in struck targets, causing scorch damage and periodically ejecting incendiary fuel into pools around the target that inflict scorch damage to anyone standing in them. The more fuel a rocket is fired with, the longer it lasts before detonating, and the more fire it spreads. So that's just the intrinsic exotic perk. We then have High Octane. With this intrinsic, nearby ignitions instantly refill your Dragon's Breath with 2 fuel. Plus, when its fuel fully refills, it reloads itself.
Ooh,
So that's
DPS.
That's going into solar builds that are doing ignitions. That's exciting.
Mhm.
And then we have the Catalyst, which is called Pyromancer. This catalyst passively replenishes your Dragon's Breath fuel faster. Eliminating combatants with this weapon causes them to spawn fire sprites as well. This is that's a new weapon. Like
That's
that
brand
is a
new.
new exotic. It's
Yeah.
not the same as the D1 at all.
It's much more interesting than
Sounds
D1
really
had
good.
2 versions too, right? Remember they changed it. I don't remember when.
They
but
did, yeah. Yeah, it came out and we were like, what is this? And then they changed it to be something a little bit more exciting.
I think they made it have like the solar nades that like just stayed in the air, or was that the original way?
I think
it
that was the
And then it-
original. I think the second one was like it was like pools of fire.
I think it was pools.
Yeah.
I vaguely
like,
remember fire pools.
dropped on the floor. Yeah. I
This
can't
is
remember what
really
it was.
interesting, though. Yeah.
You know
Yeah, it sounds
what's
more
cool
fun.
about this weapon is the way that it will feed into itself. So with the ignition thing you were talking about for
Yeah.
solar builds, like yes, whenever you cause an ignition, it's going to refill the rocket, but whenever you eliminate combatants with the rocket and it spawns fire sprites regen your grenade by 12.5% whenever you pick one up. So it's like just this constant loop back and forth, and you can like use your mods to make the fire sprites do even more. Like I think you can get charged up with them, and yeah, you could just go to town with all sorts of stuff at that point.
I'm thinking exploding knife hunter is what I'm thinking. Throwing knives, getting explosions. It's an ignition. It adds 2 fuel to your dragon's breath. When your fuel's full, it reloads. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try for sure. I mean, it makes sense for them to do dragon's breath in Season of the Dragon.
Course.
All right, come on, it's dragons.
Will it be good for any of the Last Wish bosses? Yeah. Probably.
Maybe it depends how fast you can refill the fuel and how fast it will reload itself. Because if you could reload it pretty fast by just throwing stuff,
does it have to be your equipped weapon to reload, or can you do this? Can you
it doesn't mention that actually.
Stow it and it's reloading.
That's a good question.
It's doing its thing while it's.
Good point.
You know,
nearby ignitions. I wonder how close you got to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the other thing.
Because obviously you can get ignitions on bosses by spamming nades and stuff like that. So
yeah,
imagining you can't be too far back and just use it as a DPS king.
True. Yeah. Speaking of the bosses, did y'all see that tweet or did y'all talk about it last week? I can't remember. One of the devs tweeted out, they were like, "This is revenge for all those people who didn't have never run Last Wish raid properly." And I was like, wait, are we gonna have an eyes mechanic in like the story content somehow or something? Oh my
god, yeah. Maybe, because that's the biggest thing, right? Is the eyes. That's the thing that people would always mess up on and want to avoid, because that is how you would wipe the raid.
So funny. I've only done it legit. Part of it was I always like the mechanics, but I always insisted. I'm like, we're not doing it. I'm sorry. I'm like, what's the point? But I get why people wanted to get through it as fast as possible. But I think it was also because like when it first launched, I hadn't beat the raid till it was like a month or so, and I managed to do it blind, which was wild. I had to like avoid all comms.
That's impressive.
Yeah, this was actually where the famous, I don't know if you ever heard my power per hour rant. It came from, the Last Wish and
I've got
all
a
that
recording of it on my phone. I listen to it.
Yeah.
My alarm.
You do. Dude, I was so pissed about the Last Wish because there was a bug with like getting enough power. Remember they had some inventory problems where stuff.
They did, yeah.
Anyway, so I like got to the second, what's the name of the screaming witch there in the second encounter, but we got there and then we got locked, but anyway, because of that, finally was able to come full circle and do it legit. I was like, this is a great raid though, once it was balanced out.
It is a great raid.
But it is a very good raid.
I will say I hate the call outs before that, the second last encounter. It's it's fine. It's just that's just the Destiny raid and the direction they went in, right? Of all the symbols and yelling over each other like comms. I was like, what did you say? But it's a badass raid. And I like doing the eyes was the point of that. Like so if you haven't done it, I think it's a lot of fun. I mean, as I recall the cheese of like, shooting, say, a dragon's breath into boss's mouth or something. We won't spoil it. But I would love if they force you to do it proper.
It would be interesting, yeah.
What did they do with Vault of Glass didn't they do something to force, because people would choose who goes in the past or something? They forced.
Yeah.
They made it
probably
random,
something like that. Some mechanic that forces you to learn.
Next up, we have Season of the Wish economy and rewards tuning. There's a lot of talk about previous stuff. We're not going to talk about previous stuff because we talked about previous stuff previously. Probably. Most likely.
Listen to a previous episode.
Most likely it's in there somewhere. But they are doing a new reward for lost sectors. And I know that Lego is very excited about this.
So excited.
I am also pretty excited about this. So, starting with Season of the Wish, they're introducing additional rewards for completing lost sectors without the assistance or comfort of a stalwart fire team. So it says here that while gunsmith engrams will be introduced as a reward for all difficulties of Lost Sectors, select foundry weapons will also drop from legend and master completions. So your drop rate is legend 70%, master 100%.
Yes.
100%. And
foundry
it
weapons.
says foundry weapons. Yeah. So we'll go through the days a little bit. Might not read all of them, but just to give you an example of how it's going to work.
Right.
But thorough completions on massive difficulty will also have the advantage of weapons dropping with an additional perk in either the third or fourth column, which could be helpful in chasing the perfect roll. So they're going to be grouped into smaller sections of weapons, so you don't just have an entire pool, so you're just like farming and forever. So
Yes.
day 1 is going to be Nox Perennial, Old Sterling, Marcillian C, and Sununa SI6, SL6?
I think it's SI, yeah.
SI6. So that's going to be your day 1. And these rotate every day. So day 2 is the Psy Hermetic, the Glissando, the Urkunji, and the Nosredden. Yeah. So every day it's going to be different stuff. And then after the fourth
Lego,
day,
what
it
should I be
repeats.
getting?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, what are some weapons to keep an
There's
eye
so
on,
much.
Lego? Give us
Okay,
our days we
really?
need to find.
Real-
Give us a breakdown. Yeah.
Before I get into the day, I have two things to say about this. One,
Yeah.
thank God. Like,
Yeah,
these are
seriously,
the
thank
rarest
God.
weapons in the game for no reason. Like,
Yep.
rarer than any exotic. You cannot farm these in any capacity right now. And so for them to finally give us a way to go after these things, like, for one, the sidearm, heliocentric, is one of the only lightweight sidearms we've had in like years. And it rolls with heal clip and incandescent, or heal clip and kill clip together on a primary weapon. So like really cool stuff. And I love lightweights for running faster. It's really good in PvP, but you just can't get it. Like there's no way to farm for it. So for there to be a way to get it is great. And then Nox Perennial 5, same thing, that fusion rifle. It's like a strand version of Aramite, basically. But
Okay.
I have one gripe. The other half of this is that the catch is that the new world drops for whatever the current season is will not be in this list, and they will not be in the gunsmith focusing area either. It's only way old stuff in the gunsmith focusing area, and then the semi-old stuff in this lost sector area. Why do they not put it in here? I don't understand. They
Why
put new
is a good
exotics in
question.
here. Why it's literally still more rare than exotics. You have a new exotic come out, you can get it from the lost sector, but a new world drop, no chance. It's just completely random.
And a
chance
new
that you get it.
exotic, you can get it day 1 by doing the stuff on Neomuna. So, like,
Exactly.
it is very strange that they're still holding on to this thing of like world drop weapons. You gotta just get lucky randomly somehow, some way. There's no real way to farm it. Yeah, it is strange. It would be very nice to have it be like that, because then it's something else exciting for you to go out and try and get. They could even make it not be on day 1. Just put it on like day 4 if they really want to be a little stingy with it. But it does feel like an unnecessary thing.
Yeah, if I'm understanding that right, they do say after this though, right? It's right after these 4 days of updates that the newest world loot pool weapons will eventually find their way in, but after the debut of this,
the season after their debut. Yeah,
the season after.
Does it say
that's
the
the
season
hold
after?
up for me.
Oh.
Yeah, because
I was that's
because to follow through on that frustration, you want to play a game to play the new stuff, right? Like, so why would you not let us go get the new stuff? I just don't understand the point of creating these new interesting weapons and then holding them back from us playing with them or even being able to obtain them in any way.
it is strange.
So that's my frustration.
I mean,
it is strange to spend time making new weapons and then like no one really gets to play them. And I see a weapon, I'm like, what is that? I've never seen that before. 5 years later, I'm like, what is that good weapon? I have no idea.
I mean, on paper, right, it's because they think that you won't go and do all those, keep the population up in those other things, right? And that you'll get caught in lost sectors when they need you in, what is it, public events and strike playlists? Is that generally where they drop?
Yeah, it's just too narrow. That's the problem. Is like it's
Should
so
be
broad.
all of the above, right?
Everybody
Yeah.
just stops playing. They're like, well, I'm never gonna get it anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I've
go on
given
and
up
play
on
a
the
different lane
sidearm.
at this point. Yeah.
Given up.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you, by the way. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm
No, I know,
sure on
yeah.
paper it's like that mentality. And yeah, it is weird. It's like all this new stuff that you can't target. And you're like,
Yep.
dude, we're past waiting. Like, come on. I'm going to be too
It's a
busy
bit
with the
of
final
a-
shape anyway to be worried about that.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy too, because you can't get it very much, even though you want to talk about it because you've seen the pools and the perks. So like content creators can't like make videos about them and tell people that this is cool. And so like, well then like a more casual person like me, like I'm gonna see like, hey, you gotta farm this today. I'm like, okay, I'm fucking go out there and farm this. Like, and it was also you can't tell people where to go farm them because it's not like super farmable. So it's like, well, no wonder why no one's using them.
And
I don't know.
they may have a fix to this too, because sometimes we see stuff ahead of time and we're like, oh, these are the problems with it, but they've actually accounted for those. Like, for instance, the new stuff right now is weighted really low. Like, it feels like it's super rare that you get a Nox Perennial or that sidearm to drop. And they could, now that they're adding ways to get all the old stuff, and they're taking some of the old stuff out of the loophole, and maybe they'll make these drop rates for these ones that you can go in and farm. Maybe they'll make those ones low and make the new ones high, playing the random other activities. That would be more okay. Like, I'd be like, okay, if we see them drop more frequently and it's not such a big deal, I'm more on board with that. So we'll see what happens with the drop rates.
True.
Okay. We've lost our Torb reader.
Our guide.
Our guide through the swab.
Our guide to Torb.
Briar, you love to read the TWAB.
I do? That's news to me.
More ritual engrams are coming.
Oh, this was a big contention point, though. I saw this in a lot of
Okay, if you want.
communities where engrams are going to be so expensive now. Like, trials weapon engrams are changing to require, like, to get a trials weapon to focus it, you have to use 5 trials engrams and 25,000 glimmer to focus 1 trials weapon. And a lot of people see that and they're like, man, how many games am I going to have to play to get 5 trials engrams to even be able to focus 1 at all? And there were rumors, like, somewhere a long time ago, like, we think they said you were going to get increased, like, we were going to see engrams more often, but
Yeah,
it's
they
still
did, yeah.
like they didn't say it here, and it's just still kind of unknown, like, how much more engrams we're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they first started talking about it, they said, oh, like, don't worry, it's going to be, like, we're increasing the drop rates of the engrams, but...
Heaps of
engrams. What's the point of increasing of the engrams to make everything more expensive? Why don't you just leave it the way it is?
Exactly.
That was the problem when they first said it, right? And we were talking about it, and we were like, so they're upping the amount of engrams you get, but they're upping the amount of engrams you need, so that it doesn't cancel out to like be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, but you don't get the dopamine hit, and that's why you want to give players more loots, so you activate those
gotta go
dopamine
Dakota
receptors.
more often.
Bing,
I
bing,
would
bing,
love
bing,
to
bing.
get more dopamine hits in Destiny,
I do like
Mylan.
dope.
True,
But
I
the
mean,
world
no.
drop that I want, I can't get it. So I can't have the hit.
You know what I also
That
like
would give me a
doing
good hit.
is that when my engrams are full, having to go back and visit somebody and clear it out and like
Yeah.
just all the and yeah, they note that after this big table of costs, like with the new system in place, you'll be earning more Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit engrams than ever before. So don't forget, engrams being held by the tower vendors. They reset as well, by the way, after each season. So engrams stored at the helm vendors, this is an exception, it looks like, will persist until the final shape.
Man, it's going to have to be a ton of drops, because right now, like, if you're playing it's Iron Banner week this week, and if you're playing Iron Banner and you're wanting to focus a weapon, you get an engram maybe every 3 or 4 games. Like, it's like you got to play a lot of games. That's like a lot. So, like, say an hour, you might get 1 or 2 Iron Banner engrams to focus, and then you got to spin the actual, right now, legendary shards and glimmer to get it. But in the future, like, you're going to have to, like, really up the amount if you want to go for a certain role and focus those engrams to get what you want, because the actual weapon drop rates are super low in the game.
I feel like the grind should be not getting the engrams, but getting the right rolls. So you should be rolling heaps of guns, but not always having the right combination. Because I feel like that feels a lot better than like playing hours and hours to get a horde of engrams to like have one chance of getting what you want.
Yeah. I see that.
Yeah, the system, it feels, like they're improving on an outdated system. And I don't even grind that much for it, but it is tiring. And then the vault space filling up on top of it. If you're like not sure which of these roles you want to keep, a whole nother thing. But funny story, I was getting rid of all of the engrams at like the vendors, and it was like really late because I stream later at night after 10 p.m. Pacific time, and I was like sitting there and going through everything, and I was finishing up with shacks, and then all of a sudden like I couldn't do one, and I was like, oh, this costs legendary shards.
Oh no.
I spent every last legendary shard I had, but like I didn't have that many. It was like 1,000 though. It was still a lot. I just was like rolling a gun because I was like, yeah, I want to get like this Riptide. Like, who cares, you know?
Oh no,
I was bored.
on Riptide.
Dude, yeah. Like, I just didn't have one with Chill Clip or whatever it was. And then I burnt everything. But in the reverse of what normally happens to me, in which I call Fran luck, they had literally weeks later, they're like, we're getting rid of legendary shards. I was like,
sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get out of jail free.
That one.
That was funny though. But yeah, just I mean, gear and loot management. I got to throw it in every show. I literally don't log in. It's been years now of where I'm just like, I just can't deal with like trying to sort through and decision make on stuff in my vault because it is full. It's not that there's stuff that I don't want to get rid of. It's the act of getting something and having to go and check if it's in my vault. Which dupes do I have? Which rolls did I keep?
Right.
How do I? And you can't even label that stuff. Gear management, as I often talk about. We do really need a fix for that. It's insane to me. I always say they should be the Apple iOS of gear management. And it's crazy that I still like have to use all these third-party tools and sit there staring at it. And by the way, Diablo 4 added on I think all platforms. You can search by keyword. It searches descriptions in the items, and that's nice. A step forward. The thing I want is, let's say you get a certain gun that I just click on it as soon as I got it at my feet, and it pulls up the other 6 that I stupidly saved, and I'm like, cool. I'm just gonna save this one. I would delete the rest like immediately, but instead, it's absurd. But shout out to Diablo, who in this season really responded, and you literally can search for the word anything. It could be in the intrinsic, the kill clip functionality. You could find everything that has that and so on. So, nice. And yes, I know about DIM. I know somebody's going to post it in the comments, but that's not in the game. Remember, we got loadouts in the game. Everybody was like, Fran, we don't just use DIM. And then we got in the game and people were like, game changer. I'm like, you think playing the game in the game? What games do you game? Anyway.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Then loadouts went down. It was the beginning of the season. I was like, this is awful. Back to DIM.
Yeah, totally. Do you realize how precious it is?
Yeah.
I will say with the system, God, Fran just made me really want to have that system where you could see all your stuff as soon as it drops. But with this system, one thing that I really have enjoyed with the engram thing, like there is one benefit, and that is when you rank up seasons of Vanguard or Crucible, how you get the multiple perks, and then you can focus the weapon you want once you're like rank 3 in Crucible or in Vanguard, and then you get those, like, you could have a roll with 6, different perks to have a better chance of the thing that you're looking for. Like I do enjoy that. The problem is that it doesn't do that in Iron Banner, and it doesn't do that in Trials. If you could play a bunch of Iron Banner and rank up and like get more perk options, like 2 perks in each column, then that, like, I'd be more on board with focusing, like, being expensive. But the fact that it's still 1 perk in each column, that's a brutal RNG grind.
Yep. Yeah, and again, I'm always talking about these other games and their systems, but again, shout out to Diablo for listening. They're actually planning on potentially putting powers in like a library, which Division did, you may be familiar with. And I always bring that up for Destiny 2. Like, imagine some system of like, well, you got this role, and that is the one perk you do care about. And like, you could start there, and then you're only looking for that one side of it, as opposed to like, sitting again on like tons of weapons and having a library of like, well, I already got these. Why am I even saving this? And what if you want to pull it out of the library? And that solves the vault problem, right? Like I already earned it. It's just a bookmark. I don't need it sitting in my vault. I just might want to use a chill clip Riptide, but I don't want to store it in the vault. Okay. But I did earn it because I've played Destiny for like 3,000 hours or whatever,
That's my dream, for them to utilize collections in a meaningful way where you like unlock stuff and then can pull it. God, what a dream.
That would be nice. It's not a ton left in here. They did a recognizing veterans service across the world because they said this was, of course, Veterans Day was this past weekend. So it's just a reminder that the Jump Master emote is available in the store until the end of season 22. And that is an emote where all profits go to Team Rubicon and the Bungie Foundation. So if you do want to get that emote and you want to support a good cause, make sure to get it before season 22 ends. Iron Banner's here. If you want a Dark Decider auto rifle or Gnorzak slug shotgun, get it now because it's leaving. If you want one. Lego says don't bother.
I will
it's
say,
not super exciting.
Get a pressurized precision though with Discord. It's very good. Unlimited
I have
ammo.
one with Discord, and I think it's Discord high impact.
Oh, that's perfect.
I believe.
That's the best.
I do have that one.
And the bow's pretty cool too now. I mean, I know bows are kind of frowned on here or there, but
especially these days,
pretty fast.
Love a good bow, man.
I'm excited for next season. The Strand high impact auto rifle, though. I'm looking forward to that. Very
and
much
Reeswalker, everybody loves Reeswalker.
Reeswalker's great. And then we got
bows.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of the Last Wish bow, right? That thing's a tyranny of something. Heaven.
Wish. That one. I was like,
yeah.
That thing's a banger. I think it had Firefly or Dragonfly or whatever, something like that on.
I believe it did. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With the revamp, it's actually the grossest one shot available because.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can already get it.
Yeah. Recrafting that thing into what is it? Enhanced swashbuckler is. I've been waiting for it on a solar weapon because whenever you melee someone with solar, you can get radiant at the exact same time. So you get radiant stacked on top of swashbuckler ×5, and then it's a solar bow. So you're one-shotting to the head every single time, and then every time you one-shot with that solar bow, solar weapons can refresh radiant. So you never have to punch anyone again. Swashbuckler refreshes, radiant refreshes. It's a disgusting loop. Don't tell anyone I said that.
Well, I'm going to get this, and if I'm not a god in PvP after using, I'm coming for you, Lego, for misinformation.
He says this all the time, Mylan. He says it all the time, and then he will run out there and die and go, who did it? I'm banning them. And then, not saying it's user error. I didn't say it.
Oh, with the bow real quick. Well, Fran mentioned Last Wish bow. There actually is in the teaser for Season of the Wish. There is someone is holding a bow in that, and
they are.
Some people are kind of excited. I saw Sammy Cat, the bow legend herself. She's
definitely
excited about it. Yeah,
yeah. It's like me when I see a sidearm. I'm like, oh, new sidearm. We did get the Year 6 dungeon date. This is the new dungeon coming next season. And this is going to be 9 a.m. Pacific, Friday, December 1st. 9 a.m. You see, this is the only problem. This is the only problem that I really, really have with daylight savings. I mean, I have a bunch of problems, but this is my biggest problem, is that it's at 9 a.m. instead of 10 a.m., and that is early. 10 a.m., reasonable for me to be prepared to play the game for many, 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 many hours. But 9 a.m.,
that's
unreasonable.
Right.
You're not allowed to complain. It's
time.
1 a.m. for me. You've got no leg to stand on.
It is 1 a.m. for you.
Then again, you'd probably prefer 1 a.m. over 9.
I might prefer 1 a.m. Yeah, I could go to bed at like 4 probably. That'd be okay.
Just go to Japan again.
I might. Yeah. I just have to go back.
Actually, that's exciting. That's right. We were talking about maybe reasons to be excited and pumped for Season of the Wish, but that's right. New dungeon alongside of that.
I forget
that's exciting.
Dungeons are always exciting for me. I think I get more excited for a dungeon than a raid, maybe even, because it feels a bit more farmable. You know, I can grab 2 buds and go in. You can even go in by yourself, and it's
accessible.
Like, it's more accessible. For sure.
And that's why I think. Sorry, I was getting confused in my head. I kept talking about like Last Wish as a raid, and blah blah. Like obviously you can already play Last Wish. It was that they always release like the themed dungeon alongside these, and this is coming. So yeah. Like the last dungeon was themed aquatically, and that season was as well, right? And this should be, for all we know, it takes place right around, the Last Wish raid. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm so curious. No hints at all. You brought up something else though, Fran.
Dreaming City.
The raid refresh, like that refresh happening. Everybody assumed, and they might have even said, that they were going to do a raid refresh this next season as well. They don't talk about it anywhere here,
right?
But I think that was in the cards, and everybody is expecting it to be Garden of Salvation refresh, like all the weapons be craftable. If that happens, there's a lot of really good stuff.
There are, and I don't want to do Garden of Salvation.
It's a beautiful raid.
Do that raid.
It's long.
Yeah.
But with farming it, though, the specific weapons drop from the specific encounters. So if that works for the farmable, like craftable red borders, you could just do that one encounter you need.
That would be nice. Yeah. That would be nice. Yeah. That's basically it for the Tawab.
That's my favorite gun, but Reckless Oracle, the Void auto rifle.
Nice.
My favorite gun, I think, in Destiny 2. So would love to get
There's a lot of good guns in that raid.
A lot of people's favorite fusion, too.
Zealots. Yeah, it's a very good fusion. Yeah.
I'm going to do a couple Twitter questions. John Kudo says, do you think Destiny should go back to making cracked artifact mods like particle deconstruction and breach and clear again? I feel like PvE build crafting hardly changes season to season with the tamer mods. You're all awesome, and thank you for keeping the show going. Thank you, John.
Yes. I can't really make comments on how artifact stuff is. I thought they were still cracked. Did they turn them down a bit? Guess so.
You thought they were still cracked this season? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Like I haven't spent enough time in there. Did they tone them down a fair bit?
I think they're just more intricate now. They're just not like particle repeater. Or is that what it's called? Particle repeater, particle destabilizer, or something like deconstruction. Yeah. So that one was just fusion rifles and linear fusions get a huge buff, and so it was just very easy for all players to have access to. The ones this season are like precision weapons. If you hit your target so many times and you're like 30 meters away, then you get buffed a certain percentage. So it's like just more intricate type of mods.
Right.
And so maybe that's why they feel not as powerful, but they're pretty powerful stuff. I think everybody loves seeing the powerful artifact mods. The problem is when that power bleeds into PvP and then those players complain, like just if you do it, just make it against PvE enemies and you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Kind of true.
Wayne says, what was everyone's day job before you got into streaming and content creation? Was anyone a checkout chick? Was Tefty a cop? Did Briar work at barbecues galore?
That was my favorite question. He just slid it in there.
Well, that was good.
Well, I worked at IGN forever, but before that, and I went full-time content creator after, I was probably, I was going to college, but busboy was in there. I also, we lived on a river, and so I detailed boats,
in a van?
like washed them and detailed them. We also stored them for the winter times in the Midwest, so you'd have to wrap them up and get them ready for winter.
Oh, dang.
Oh.
Nice.
Hey, what's a busboy? Is that like valet parking?
Oh no, sorry. The cleaning up the tables at restaurants, bringing them to the dishwasher, and so not in other words, somewhere that the server doesn't take care of it, but you got someone behind you taking care of the tables. That was not fun.
Fran was passing dishes to me, cleaning dishes at a pizza place.
That was it. Yeah,
that's what I did for a little bit. I didn't have a ton of jobs because I was a very sick child, so I couldn't really do a whole lot. But yeah, one of the jobs I did have was washing dishes at a pizza place.
I was once a pizza delivery boy.
No, so we got a whole operation going here.
That might be my favorite job of all time. I was actually just talking about that with my
Briar
brother.
wants to go back.
It was so fun. You're driving around, listening to music, delivering
That sounds fun.
pizzas. It was great.
Apparently,
It was
it's
good
one of the
fun.
most dangerous jobs you can do. I hear.
Really?
Why is that?
Because you were in
They'll
America.
people you
fucking
run
shoot
into.
you.
Yeah.
Cars are dangerous.
Cars are dangerous. Go into random
believe that.
houses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think of all
Okay.
of the, I mean, you must have some stories from like delivering pizza that the people were kind of like suspect.
No, I
Never?
used to every once in a while steal an extra pizza and bring it to my friend's house. Or like having a party or something, stay there for a bit, and then like start delivering cold pizzas for a little while. No, I don't have any stories like that.
You were
You
the
guys
problem.
heard about
I
the
said-
guy though that got kidnapped? He was a pizza delivery guy who got kidnapped. They put an exploding collar on him and made him rob a bank. And then after
This
he
is
robbed
real?
a bank,
Movie.
no, this is a
movie.
real thing.
Yeah,
that
I was
happened.
like, this
is this
is
that
like a
Netflix
movie plot.
documentary? Where the guy has
They
the
did
car?
make a Netflix documentary.
Yeah,
on it,
yeah, I watched that.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Oh, I saw this. Now I know what you're talking. That's right. That was a pizza delivery to. That's right. That was like out in the middle of the forest or something, and then they
Right.
like kidnapped. But there was
Yeah.
like way more to the story of how they ended up out there.
Oh yeah, I do.
that
remember
was
this.
insane.
God.
It
It
was
was
really
a-
crazy.
It was real.
Uh,
And they
Yeah,
put an
evil
exploding
genius,
collar
Chattison.
around his neck.
That's awful.
I like
Jesus
it.
Christ.
I like Briar. He's like, nah, dude, chill job, hang with my friends. Blah, blah. Did you hear this story about a guy that had an exploding bomb wrapped around his neck? He delivered pizza.
Yeah, well, speaking on that, a so according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, a pizza delivery driver is at a higher risk of injury and death than a construction worker or police officer. Out of 5,500 workplace fatalities through this year that they were tracking it, delivery drivers made up 1,000 of them.
Cops get all the glory.
That's
But
a
pizza
lot.
delivery men are the real heroes
They're the real heroes.
Wow.
Kind of true.
doing God's work.
True.
Kind of true. Before I did content creation, I was doing my PhD. I finished that. I lectured at a university in occupational therapy. Then I worked privately and publicly as an OT for like 10 years. And thought, fuck that. I want to make video games be a bum.
And then you did
Chose
lore.
wisely.
You chose
And I
like
did
the
lore.
upper
And then-
upper class man's video game.
Man's video game.
Perfect.
And then you hated it. No, you were playing Suika game.
It's a good game. Good game.
I was in the wedding industry for like 15 years. I started as a
Videographer?
photographer and then did it with my wife. And then when she bowed out and went to psychology, I became a wedding videographer. And I've actually just shot my last wedding under my name last month, my very last one. So I'm very
Nice.
excited about it. I'm still going to be like lead shooting for other people here or there because I like doing it and I feel really confident and good at doing it. But I'm so done with editing. Like I'm like never.
I was gonna say the
stimulated.
editing.
Yeah,
the
no,
editing must
never
be
again.
so bad.
Yeah.
But once you
Oh.
like once your name gets around and you can just sell yourself as a like just for a day, like 8 hours or 9 hours to go out and capture everything. Like I can take care of everything for you and just send it like to outsource
Yeah.
it to this other
Yes.
person. It's great.
Yeah, like I love like taking photos and videography, and like that was part of what I did at IGN too. But having a team and like having a like let's say not only an editor but a producer and like somebody to set up and tear it. Oh my god, game change because you're like I'm just gonna shoot this stuff because that's the fun part.
Exactly.
Get those beauty shots and like you really do at something like a wedding or you capture these incredible moments. So you get to be behind that, but then you're like I don't want to deal with the rest. You edit it.
Mhm.
So that's awesome that you can still do some of it.
Yeah, it's nice. Glad I get to keep doing it.
I was in
You guys had
IT
fancy jobs.
before this. Before that, I was doing materials analysis. But I never liked talking about my jobs. You know, like I always so I
Like
used
a
to
cop?
make up. Yeah.
Sounds like a cop
Yeah,
material
sounds like
analysis.
a-
That's
sounds like a
cop
cop.
stuff.
It's a cover story.
Mm.
It's an old cover
I'm
story.
analyzing materials.
So I used to
Yeah.
like make up what I used to do. Like you ever go like golfing and like everybody on the third tee is like, so what do you do? So I used to
I do
make
that
up
now
a
because
job.
I don't want to answer questions. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, you know.
I always
nothing.
say I'm in digital media now because I never want to like explain to people what Twitch is or what YouTube
I'm gonna remember
is.
that one. Okay.
That's the thing. You have to explain Twitch. People know what YouTube is now, but having to explain Twitch, you're like, what's a thing where people want to?
That's why I just
what do you do specifically? Well,
but if you say digital media, people just the blank just goes over their face and they say, "Where's the bar?"
Yeah.
That's not very interesting. I don't care.
Right.
But see, I was gonna say I say content creator, but I also feel like if you say digital media or content creator, they still think you're doing OnlyFans. Like there's no way around it.
I feel like okay with explaining exactly how my day works. That's easier to explain.
Yeah,
it's way more fun to me than explaining my actual day.
And the best thing is you got to put full-time OnlyFans because then they know you're making money. You know, like
right?
Full-time. You know what I mean?
Like you really got to you're like, I don't just dabble in it. It's
it's not a hobby.
I jumped in with both cheeks, if you know what I mean.
I did my my in real life jiu-jitsu stream this morning, and like I don't film like there's a class before us that like a early morning.
That's professional jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, well they were doing like kickboxing or whatever, and I was like. I don't like filming in there first because I got the radio on, the music on, and like all the DMCA stuff. So like I start the stream outside and wait for everyone to leave, and then I've got like a private lesson, so we're not like filming random people. And I'm like just about to go live, and one guy walks out. What are you making, porn?
That's too bad that wasn't like, right after you went live.
Kinda. You want to sign up to be in the next one?
You interested?
Yeah, true. True.
Bugo16 says, Briar, your neighbor accidentally blows leaves in your yard while they are doing yard work after you already cleared the area earlier that day. What do? I burn their fucking house down like a, reasonable person. You don't do that.
You use the leaves that he put into your yard as a trail to the house, and you light the leaves on the
light it on fire. Watch it burn. Get the marshmallows, kids.
Started in my yard. Don't know what happened.
No, I just set fire to these leaves in my yard. I'm just trying to burn my house down.
Well, technically, they're not my leaves, you see, officer. Grim Invictus Hive of God Lore says, how similar to the modern day do you think the Last City is? Do you think they have YouTubers or something close to them in the Destiny universe? Do they have porn? Oh, is there Destiny porn? There's definitely.
I mean, there's definitely porn.
Sure there is.
The cavemen had a type of porn, They did drawings on the wall. So man will always find a way.
Search, not a Google search, right?
The thing that I always
do it, Briar.
The thing that I always reference is the Vanguard net. Like if I'm ever telling a story and I need to like use the internet, I just call it the Vanguard net because that's what Cade like searches for stuff on, and it's I can't remember what chat will remember, but Cade did a funny search and he's like, yeah, it's sort of mimicking putting the wrong things into Google. Like, no, not that, no, and it like returns all these searches.
I would really like it if they got kind of meta with the tower and put like YouTubers and content creators into the game. Not like actual YouTube content creators, but like create a character that's like a content creator and just like kind of meme on it for a bit. That would be kind of funny.
It'd be funny.
It's that what's the Astrocross lookalike in Cosmodrome?
Oh. What is your name? Dang it.
Shawhan.
Declan Sweeten says, love the pod. I was wondering what your plans are for DCP once the final shape is launched. Still tune in. Love SideQuest, and you got to get Mylin on sometime, guys. Never happened. We're never gonna
guess
allow that.
What just happened?
Ever.
Woo! Right
no
there.
Way.
He talks about all kinds of games. Yeah, it's actually it's just a really nice way to make sure that there's always a lot to talk about instead of it, because SideQuest can also suffer when something like Final Shape comes out, right? Because we're like, we don't talk about Destiny on this show. We have an entire show for that.
Right.
So on SideQuest, I'll be like, I just played Destiny this week. I'm not going to lie. I don't know what's going on. Grab some news somewhere.
My ass hurts from sitting in my chair playing Destiny for 60 hours.
That's because you went in cheeks first.
Hey, gotta jump in cheeks first.
Yeah, wish granted. Now we just got to see what the monkey paw is of this
Oh,
wish
yeah.
being granted.
Yeah, what's the monkey paw of SideQuest? Mylan on SideQuest.
Me talking about Suika every week. So anyway,
Guys, I got a new score.
New high score in Suika. It's a pretty cool game.
XX Thuggy TXX says, not a question, but everyone go check out Tefty's new video. I missed him. I'm glad to see something from him. He did put out a new video.
Heck yeah. I did not know that.
actually-
Awesome.
Today, it might have
It was
been last
pretty
night,
helpful.
but yeah.
8 hours ago.
Yeah, because he went over DaVinci, the video editing program, how to do multicam editing. I was literally doing multicam editing today in Premiere
Nice.
Pro, and since I'm getting out of
Oh.
weddings, I was like, I should really think about going to a program that doesn't cost me an arm and a leg every month.
Premiere
So,
sucks.
Yeah,
Da Vinci is
it's
very,
looking
very
pretty
good.
He's got a new goatee going.
He's got a new haircut. It's all got all sorts of stuff going on.
Looking good.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's what
So if
happened.
you
know
missed
That's what-
Tefty,
He
go
put a lot
watch
of
this
work into
video.
this.
yeah. That
what
the
happiness
camera work in
looks
there
like.
was
Awesome.
Awesome.
Mhm.
It's a multicam tutorial for DaVinci Resolve. It's only 16 minutes long, so it's not super, super long. But yeah, you can learn how to do multicam in DaVinci if you're a content creator.
Do you have to pay for the full license of DaVinci to do multicam, or is that part of the free license?
Oh, I'm not
Good
sure.
We're
question.
gonna have to find.
I'll
that
ask
out.
him that in the comments.
Yes.
Or you could just go to Black
You
Magic's
know what? He
website.
might mention it in the video.
I'll watch it twice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Need a
Instead
second
of just
listen.
going to.
This guy Sim says, I'm currently slow cooking chicken soup for my sick family. What are your go-to feeling sick meals? And let's stay away from anything fried, basted, roasted, or grilled.
Why stay away from those
Yeah.
things? That's what I want to know.
What other food options are
Should
there?
eat what you like.
Well, he's talking about when you're sick. I think he's
Yeah, but it's
What other food options are there? No, I'm kidding.
sometimes I like a pizza that Briar delivered to me when I get really sick. That's all I'm saying. With a little side of Ralph, barbecue Ralph on there. Know what I mean?
It tastes a little fishy for pig, but hey, maybe that's what was wrong with your pork today.
Fishy pig.
That might be.
Ralph with that mertail. No, I mean I get why. Like sometimes people like ginger and liquids, and like
Yeah.
I get why. Just
Gatorade
messing.
is my thing. I just chug Gatorade
Yeah.
like it's going out of
Yeah.
style. I can't
yeah.
stand chicken soup though. I hate it. Like I
Oh, I love chicken.
Really?
hate it. Yes.
What
People
about?
in chat brought up some.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what about tortilla soup?
Oh yes, it is basically
so
chicken
good.
soup,
I
but
know,
it's
but
just better.
Yeah,
It's
but
just
it,
better.
that's
Well,
Exactly.
depending on the chicken soup. Tortilla soup's always really good. And then you put a little hot sauce in there, clear your sinuses up.
Nice.
Oof.
Mhm.
Mm.
Some
Take what you're
chili
stepping in.
peppers. Exactly.
That's
That's what I was
right.
gonna say. Chat was bringing up sort of the obvious but good, like ramen or pho, like
Yep.
any like hot noodle brothy type stuff is great
hate
because
ramen,
yeah, I
too.
mean just
Despise it.
what?
Too much in college. Too much. Just overdid it.
Okay, but that's
Way
like
over.
probably
That's
ramen
not
from the
actual
packet. That's not
ramen,
even yeah.
Hate it.
That's I mean it's yeah.
This
It
is the
says
same guy who
ramen
hates fries.
Right on the plastic bag that it comes in.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, like no lie, like I eat whatever I want when I'm sick because I just want to like feel good. Obviously, you should be careful not to like dehydrate yourself, but other than that, it literally you're not going to change anything. Like, anything with a ton of vitamin C is not going to change the fact that you already got sick. But I love Indian food so much, so normally it's like I'll like break down. But I'm just having a bunch of curry, man. I love.
But like, what if
Indian
you're like
food.
stomach sick though?
Okay,
Potatoes.
that's fair.
Really?
No, I
Potatoes,
still get like
rice,
super hot curry,
beans.
like honestly. And I have.
Tastes
I'm not
just
even
as good on the
joking
way
with
up
you,
as
and
it did
I
on the way
have.
down.
It's hard enough to eat anyway. Eat something you like.
Yeah, I do feel like if your stomach's sick, you end up just eating like crackers and soup anyway until you get slightly better, and then you go back to the curry.
Yeah. You do got to be careful with that, because that's why, like you can't have a ton of fat and grease in your stomach if you've got like a stomach bug. But
Three Bros, One Controller podcast says favorite old and new sitcom. Do they even make new sitcoms? Are sitcoms still a thing?
What's a new sitcom?
Yeah, what's a new one?
I mean,
like Modern
Ted Lasso,
Family, is that still on?
Kind of.
No.
Ted Lasso, you could say, is a sitcom.
Ted Lasso? Okay, that'd be my favorite one then.
Yeah,
it's
probably
pretty high
Yeah,
up.
that's a
sitcom.
Yeah.
How you would describe a sitcom now?
I'm a huge
I feel like that genre is gone almost.
Like, if you it would still say, I mean, Curb Your Enthusiasm is still current, but like Curb, 30 Rock, Seinfeld, going back.
Does there have to be a
backwards.
laugh track for it to be a sitcom?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No.
No.
And it's gonna be like multiple seasons.
If there's a laugh track, it's not on my favorite list of sitcoms.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind that
Fran,
in
your list
Seinfeld,
was
but
pretty
like,
good there. Curb.
oh yeah, Curb, 30 Rock,
Rock.
And honestly, like I would say, yeah, It's Always Sunny. Someone just brought that up. That's freaking goated.
Is that
There's
a sitcom?
tons of good sitcoms. Yeah, I think the problem is sitcom because of when the term really got popular. People think of like Friends and Seinfeld and like really cheesier. But I mean, those aren't cheesy necessarily, but you know what I mean. People look back on the term probably.
Format.
I feel like
sitcoms go back to like I Love Lucy and stuff. Like it doesn't.
I feel like it bleeds
have you guys seen
into
that?
like The Office or Parks and Rec
Yeah.
or something like that too,
Office
you
is
know?
great.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, Seinfeld is the ultimate.
There's a show on Hulu. It's a spin-off of Letterkenny. I think it's called Shoresy.
Yeah.
That's probably my favorite one right now. I haven't seen season 2 yet. I've only seen season 1, but it was hilarious. Mohegan 9 with the good questions. 2 of them, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's to the point, as we illustrate, you have to come up with criteria, and then you realize there's like varying levels of sitcoms. There's like the
sitcom is just short for
23-minute
comedy, right?
Yeah. There's like those quick 23-minute classic TV, but now in the world of like, for real, right? Like the world of streaming, like I don't see why. I mean, Ted Lasso, I get, is a little more dramatic, but like there's a lot of situational comedy in there, like from one to the next. But that's like at the more extreme end. I was trying to illustrate a point, but like Curb Your Enthusiasm is like completely that.
Definitely.
Still,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's freaking brilliant.
I like how he comes out with a new season like every 5 years now. It's like, oh, hey.
Yeah. It's been surprising, man. They're all so good.
Yeah. Mohegan 9 says, does celery belong in stuffing? It's a good question.
Celery?
What?
Celery.
I've never actually made
Does
stuffing
celery-
myself.
You've never made stuffing?
Yeah, I haven't made it myself.
Oh, like
I just
from scratch?
ate it.
No, I've never.
Yeah,
made it.
exactly.
I've never made it.
Yeah, no, that's up for the package.
I
Sure,
just
yeah.
pour it out of the stovetop box right into that boiling water, and we're
That's
good.
what I'm saying.
I pick it up from Whole Foods and then put it in the oven when I'm ready to eat it.
That's right. I don't know. Good question.
I like celery.
I love celery.
I'm a fan of celery.
I eat
So
celery every day. Tons of it.
I don't like nuts in my stuff.
I don't like nuts.
Pause.
I don't like nuts. in my
nuts.
stuff. Like some
Put your
people
nuts on my stuff.
put nuts in there, and I am not a fan. Or
I
cranberries.
think celery
actually.
belongs.
No
I'm gonna
cranberries.
say
I like it
celery.
all.
Yes.
You like nuts in your
Celery.
stuffing?
I mean, I'd say all
savage.
stuffing. I just think like, I like, variety's the spice of life, man. Why are you hating on just stuffing's good? It's like saying like,
Stuffing
I don't
is
like
good.
I don't like certain types of gravy. Like, are you serious? Like, I only like brown gravies. Like, get out of here. It's gravy. Stuffing's awesome. Put gravy on your stuffing. That's problem solved, right?
Oh,
You
yeah,
won't be complaining about
100%
the nuts
doing
then.
that.
That's what I'm saying.
Mohegan Nine's got 2 questions. Do you think your house has a distinct smell, and how would you describe it?
Nutty stuffing.
Nutty stuffing.
I would say
Stuffy
it's
nuts.
hard to know your house distinct smell, but you definitely like recognize other people's houses. Like,
Oh yeah, everybody's
yeah.
house
Like-
has a smell, even if it's like
My,
just like clean. Like you can
Yeah,
walk in,
my-
it's like
I feel
oh, these
like
people
my
clean
house
all the time.
still smells like paint
New
from when
house?
it was new. Yeah.
Fumes.
It's still got like the it's a new house smell.
Sure it doesn't smell like when Briar spilled beer on your carpet? Could be
We
that.
do still have that same rug. So
No.
You're welcome. I mean, we got animals, so I'm under no
right.
like no illusion that my house smells like animals. I like as a non-cat owner, like anytime I walked into anybody's house that had a cat, you could always smell cat, right? Like you could always smell it. And now that I have 2 cats, I can't smell it. And I can't smell it in other people's houses anymore. So obviously my house now smells like cat.
Yeah, I think
so people came to our house and they're like, "How does your house not smell like cat?" And I'm like, well, it's all in the litter, baby.
Yeah. I was gonna say you bring up a good point. You get accustomed to like your own house and the smell. Like you need someone to come over and identify this for you. So
yeah, you need
somebody that needs to be somebody's job.
Nose,
you know,
an outside
check-in. What if you had to have like a yearly smell checkup? You know, somebody coming in. What's notes of cat anus? Not too bad.
not too much, but more than average.
You guys eat pizza a lot? You know, all right, I smell that.
Cat ass and pizza? That's pretty good. That's a house you want to hang out at.
Too, because definitely
that is a house I want to hang out at. Cats and like pizza? Cats and
cat
pizza?
Anus and pizza? Wow.
Pizza Sounds cats. Great. Pizza cats.
You guys have samurai pizza cats over there as a kid?
Yeah, I know about samurai pizza cat.
I don't know what that is. No.
That sounds just
amazing,
like
though.
Ninja Turtles ripoff.
Yeah, it does. Oh yeah, that completely does.
Now that you say that, yeah.
It's like 100% a ripoff. Although I'm looking on Google and it looks like a bunch of almost Mega Man Sonic looking characters, right?
Like they couldn't even pick a different food. Like they couldn't be like the samurai, like I don't know, like combos cats.
Yeah, like something different. Combos. Like you
I don't know. Like it's pizza. Like it's a bit on the nose, don't you think?
Do you reckon like the
Taco
pizza
cats.
industry like lobbied to have like all these kid cartoons that have pizza in them?
It always did look delicious in cartoons, though, right?
Probably.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, probably actually.
Man, it always looked like melty and gooey. Oh, I want some.
I'm so hungry right now. Every time I'm on this show, because I eat dinner after, and then I'm like, it always seems to end because of Twitter questions. There's food. Stop asking about food, please.
There is.
I'm begging you, just stop.
Dinner's gonna be so good though, Fran.
But it's so far away.
All right, I think that's gonna wrap this one up. Thank you all for joining us. We're gonna go get some dinner.
Eat. Yeah,
nice.
Next week is Thanksgiving here in the U.S. of A.
That's right.
And Mylan's not going to be here, so
yep.
It's Mylan's fault. We're not doing a show next week.
Unless I get real drunk at Thanksgiving dinner, then I might just fire up the old stream.
Just turn it on.
I wish y'all a happy Thanksgiving.
You might see Briar. He's going to start playing Pikmin. He's going to be screaming Pikmin on Thanksgiving. It will be Fran's thankful occasion.
I'll be so thankful for Briar playing Pikmin 4.
Or I'll just point the camera at the Pikmin box. All right. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Actually, we'll
not next week.
Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, go get yourself some stuffing anyway. It's delicious. Put some gravy on it.
Yeah, nuts. Get gravy, stuffing.
Yeah,
easy.
Just don't put any nuts in it. That's gross. Bye.
Bye. Bye.